Evolution. Sports Talk Television live here nightly. All Bucs report. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about on tonight's show. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Will you shut up and be quiet? Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution Sports Talk Television here live nightly on Bucs Report. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. And as we always start off the Sports Web, bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. And yes, it's Friday night, and still your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are Super Bowl world champions. It has not gone away. Yes, they defeated the Kansas City Chiefs 31-9 in Super Bowl 55. I know we can continue to talk about it. Definitely want to hear from you guys tonight. We'll have hip-hop artist Dirty on. We'll get his thoughts on that Super Bowl victory. Of course, we'll talk about free agency and whatever else you want to discuss on this great show. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Let me pull up my chair just a little bit there. There we go. Now I'm a little bit taller. Oh, how does that work? So, of course, this is how it works. If you say something I like, I'll go ahead and fire those cannons. If I get this tonight, which I hope I'm not going to get, but I get it. It's Friday night. The Bucs have taken care of business. Nobody cares about free agency or the draft anymore, right? Nobody cares about Chris Godwin. Nobody cares about Shaq Barrett, which, by the way, once again, Bucs fans can't really enjoy a Super Bowl victory. Took off for a week. It's okay. Had to recharge the batteries. I did get on with Buck What You Heard's Mr. Gene Thomas on Wednesday night, but what has been the prevailing thoughts of you Bucs fans? Has it been the fact of winning a Super Bowl? No. Some of you guys have enjoyed it. You guys want to look into the future. You guys are looking in your crystal balls already. I did. I said that. Crystal balls. Yes. Oops. That's if you troll me. But you're looking inside your crystal ball. You're sitting there. You're saying, who are we going to lose? I heard the same thing last year. Of course, it was kind of different last year, right? This team didn't know who their quarterback is. Now you do. Tom Brady, if you've forgotten. 7th Super Bowl win. Amazing. 40 touchdowns for the quarterback that supposedly was done. But the whole prevailing thought last year was, what players are we going to lose? Oh, no, we're in cap hell. No way they signed Ndamukong Suh or JPP or Shaq Barrett or anybody else. They're going to lose them all. That has been the thought that I've seen on Facebook and Twitter. That's what everybody wants to discuss. And of course, the NFL let everybody know that it's going to be $180 million. Your salary cap. I'm going to tell you something, okay? You ready? Here goes. NFL owners and the National Football League, they lie, okay? I think there's a hip-hop artist named Lil Wayne. What, women lie, men lie, dogs lie. My dog right now is lying down, so he doesn't have to hear this. Everybody lies. The point of the matter is it's $180 million, right? So there's no chance that could go up. Everybody thinks it's going to go down or stay where it's at. You don't think that the National Football League would sign a TV contract, right? Nothing like that would happen, because if that happens, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? That cap goes up. So I'm not going to sit here and try to be Nostradamus and tell you that I know everything what's going to happen with this team. I don't. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. I'm not right about everything besides the fact, to pat myself on the back, Super Bowl or bust, right? I'm going to give you that. You have to give me that. I'm not going to give you that. You're going to have to give me that. Do I know who this team is going to lose? Have no idea. I think they're going to bring back Chris Godwin. Although if you listen to recent reports, sporadic, I guess that's like a cap site. Everybody's looking at that. Everybody's become a capologist these days. I told you about my spending habits. They're terrible. I can't budget anything. Hell, I can't budget a good meal. You go in and try to spend $1 or $2. Next thing you know, you're spending 7 or 8. That's where I'm at. So if you're asking me about budgets, I'm paying everybody. Of course, it can't be like that, right? There's no way the Bucs could do it again. No way. I mean, the national media didn't think they could win it. They didn't think their quarterback was good enough. They didn't think any of the players were good enough. There's no way they could re-sign these players all again. I mean, who really did they miss out on last year? Rashard Perryman? What did he do with the Jets? Nothing. I'm going to hold up here. You know what? I'm going to put Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy online here because I'm doing my monologue.
Hey, can you hear me, brother?
I can hear you, but I'm in the middle of my monologue here, man. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's all right. I'm going to put you on hold. You got to be quiet, all right? Then I'll come back to you.
Always.
This is what we do in radio, television. This is the evolution, right? This is not a radio station. It's not a TV station. It's both. Combination. I mean, again, no way that they can re-sign him. And I get it. The concern is there for Chris Godwin. Unbelievable talent. Hurt last year. Nobody wants to lose him. Everybody assumes that the Indianapolis Colts, because they got the mucho dinero to pay a Chris Godwin, that he's gone. He's out the door. There's no way he wants to stay here and be comfortable. I mean, look at Rashard Perryman. How did that work out for him? Not very well, right? He basically disappeared. Put up big-time numbers those last couple games with Jameis Winston, and then he was gone. You guys are going to have to hold up for the phone calls. I know you want to call in. I definitely want to hear from you. I'm going to definitely get Ray Kennedy on here in a moment, my co-host, and we'll hear from you guys. Shaq Barrett, big-time priority, keep the defense intact. Rob Gronkowski, well, maybe he wants to explore. Really? He's already come out and said he only wants to play one quarterback, Tom Brady, and yet there's still national media pundits that will throw out the whole narrative that he wants to explore free agency. Rob Nikovich. What's that all about? Oh, I get it. It's slow, right? It's slow season. It's not slow here on Bucs Report. Better not be. I better not hear this tonight. I mean, that's my thought right there. When I hear a national media pundit say that kind of stuff, it's already right there, black and white. Gronkowski said he wants to come back with the Bucs because he wants to play with Brady. Where's the confusion on that? And of course, people hear Shaq Barrett wants to get a big payday. Bucs can't do that. Ndamukong Suh has comments this week. We'll talk about that. We'll discuss it. We won't lose our minds. The sky isn't falling. This team isn't going to fall apart. They're not going in cap hell. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Not everybody's getting off the boat yet. You know why? 2 words. Tom Brady. It's so simplistic. I come on here every night. I say the 2 words. You guys lose your minds. No way. No, he could go to another team, get more money. Sure he could. Of course he could. You want to win a championship? You got a chance to win it here. We know that, right? We know what happened a couple weeks ago. So we'll talk about it. Let's go out to Tampa Bay. Ray Kennedy. Ray Kennedy, my co-host, best of the Bay. What's going on, my friend? Welcome to the evolution of sports talk television. How you doing tonight?
Brother, I'm good, but I was planning on enjoying some of the show tonight, but you stirred like you do everybody. You stirred me early with that talk about the free agency, and you reminded me of last season how we didn't know what we were going to get done.
Well, I mean, it's like the sky is falling, to Bucs fans. I mean, again, this is called the Bucs traumatic stress disorder, the PTSD in the offseason. Oh no, sky's falling. Here's the difference. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a great organization right now. They are an elite organization right now. They just won the Super Bowl. I don't think there's many players that actually want to leave here. They want to get paid. And of course, everybody wants to get paid. I want to get paid. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy wants to get paid. Everybody wants to get paid, including Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper. Rick Hughes. We all want to get paid. But at the end of the day, we also understand what we're a part of. It's something bigger than money. You'll take less money to stay somewhere because you're comfortable with the system. You're comfortable in having the opportunity to win a Super Bowl. So enough with the nonsense of Bucs fans or who we're going to lose, who we're that. We'll talk about it, but don't lose your freaking mind. All right, Tampa Bay Ray, go ahead.
That's exactly where you got me. You just nailed it on the head. It's not so much, the narrative now seems to be, and the narrative is mainly around quarterbacks, as we're seeing so far early, even before the March 17th start of the new season with Jared Goff and Carson Wentz and these deals that are getting done. But the narrative seems to be that players and veterans, JJ Watt and stuff, are going to look possibly to give a monetary relief, if you will, but to go after a championship. But how many players, 4 times, 5 times, or that we've had back-to-back champions? So
yeah,
not only have the Buccaneer players that are on this team now been a part of the 55 Super Bowl 2020 pandemic Super Bowl champions, but a shot at a second one in a row. That's in rare air right there, my friend.
It is. It's definitely rare air, and of course there will be challenges that have to be met. Of course, they have to do the financial business. But once again, I can't budget anything. I can't budget a checkbook. I don't have a checkbook. I don't write checks anymore. You know why? Because I wrote too many bad ones. So I'm not about to sit up here and act like I know everything about salary cap and this. I probably do a little bit of research. But at the end of the day, I wasn't good at math in high school. Certainly wasn't good in math in college. That's why I do what I do right here on Bucs Report on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. For all your auto parts needs, it's Advanced Auto Parts. Go ahead.
That's why we're both left side thinkers. But I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and forget the Roberto Aguayo. Let's forget a couple of maybe draft misses. Let's forget that there was 31 other teams in the NFL that would have taken Jameis Winston. Maybe there was 5 that would have taken Marcus Mariota. But the fact that Jason Light has done the job that he's done, putting the team together, getting Vita Vea and Tristan Wirfs, and going out and even a Donovan Smith now coming into his own in year 6. But the fact of the matter is, we've yet to see the Bucs really face. And they've seemingly did a good job with regard to the cap. We've yet to see them really navigate the waters of a cap strap type of a situation. Mm-hmm. But we've got a second Lombardi in the trophy case over at the Advent Health Facility, one Buck place. And now we get to see the magic that Jason Light can do. We know now that he can definitely draft or analyze talent and go out and bring in young guys, Ali Marpet, Alex Kappa. But now we get to see what kind of a maestro he can be with that cap.
Yeah, no, that's definitely what we're going to have to see. And again, you have challenges of getting Chris Godwin signed. Are they going to franchise him? It'll be $15 to $16 million. If you don't franchise him, you got to do a long-term deal. There's teams out there willing to pay $20 million. I know how you feel about investing so much money in two positions, but you hear from Bruce Arians this week that they're both good ones. And look, if Tom Brady is looking to make a concession by signing not only an extension but redoing his contract, Mike Evans is going to do the same thing. You have players that are going to do the same thing. How is it not possible to get a Chris Godwin, a Shaq Barrett, a Levante David, a Rob Gronkowski, Antonio Brown? Why would you even doubt it at this point with the way this front office performed last season? Performing miracles where supposedly there was no money at all, and they're able to sign all these players and get them under the cap and get them to play together. I don't know why you would doubt it. I think you just sit back and see what happens, and who knows, maybe you add some players to it because, once again, the Brady effect.
Well, I think that Jason Light and Bruce, I mean, come on. This isn't just we didn't make this up. The cupboard in New England was bare. I mean, somebody maybe over the years, maybe while we were watching Matt Patricia and Romeo Crennel and these coaches running around going out and getting these jobs, maybe the fact of the matter is somebody like Jason Light, who was in the draft room the night Brady came to the Patriots in the 6th round, and number 100, came into Patriots back in 2000. The fact of the matter is they were thin at evaluating talent, but the thing about it is that you tell Tom Brady, okay, if Tom wants to draw a line in the sand and say, I want to keep Chris Godwin and I want to keep this guy, then you say, okay, then we are going to have to possibly look at taking away a Donovan Smith at left tackle at $14 million a year and maybe draft somebody or bring in some other talent. Maybe we can fortify that left spot. Tom, how do you feel about your blind side being open? Because the truth of the matter is there are some players that are going to get paid. Shaq Barrett's going to get some money. Someone's going to look at the talent that this guy is and watch him, the way he's developed, and they're going to offer him money. So you cannot – we're already looking at $17 million less or somewhere in that area less this cap this year. So there are going to be concessions made. Right,
and they're going to be concessions made, but also even though it's been announced it's going to be $180 million, I wouldn't be surprised that that number goes up because the NFL – could be redoing their TV deals. So if they redo those TV deals, we have no idea where that cap goes. And if that cap goes up, then it's basically much to do about nothing. We're just talking about, it's almost like every year the Saints are in cap hell. Yet the Saints every freaking year are under the cap and able to keep their players and add to that team and have a super team. So until that fat lady has sung, if you will, until that final dollar is not in there anymore, I'm not going to believe it until I see it, because I've heard this nonsense the last couple years, although, Bucs fans experienced this a couple years ago with not necessarily being able to go out into free agency with all this money devoted to other players. But at the end of the day, I still think the NFL and this Bucs organization will make it work. What else, Ray?
No, I'm glad you covered that, because I covered that on Harry the Greek's inaugural over-under show.
Yes, which is on Wednesdays, by the way, which they're cutting me back. Okay, relax. If there's breaking news, will come on, but it's going to be the over-under with Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper, Mr. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, going back and forth on Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock. I will be on Monday and Friday. So if you come in here and you give me crickets on the Monday and Fridays, that's your fault. Go ahead.
I'm glad you covered that, because
yes.
The fact of the matter is there was not the only, and even now it's only at the end now that your big pharmaceuticals are having a great year with regard to the vaccinations they got through, and they miraculously got vaccinations through.
Right.
You've got like 5, but basically every business in the entire world, and we can say that with surety, every business in the entire world had a bad 2020. The NFL, they did suffer because the stadiums wouldn't have been packed. Raymond James, you would not have been able to squeeze another soul in that stadium. There have been so many people on that party deck. The ship would have had people hanging off the cannons. But the fact of the matter is, teams may have lost a little money at the gate, but they didn't devalue. The long-term effect about it, Buccaneers team is still on paper. Forbes puts it at somewhere in the average area in 2019 of $2.8 billion. They paid $195,000 for it in 1995. So yeah, you're right, Pete. The NFL is going to draw a line in the sand. Collective bargaining agreement. The NFL Players Association are going to say we can't spend. We don't have $500 million to sign everybody, because the true fact of the matter is they don't want the inmates running the asylum, and they want to keep salaries in check. But they're always going to figure out a way to put competitive teams on the field, because that's what the product of the NFL is all about.
That's exactly right. And you're not in the Philadelphia Eagles situation where you just traded a Carson Wentz and you're going to have a $33 million cap hit. I think it's next year or this year. I mean, it's preposterous. Why would you trade Carson Wentz when you're going to have that much of a cap hit? But they basically rid of them. So we've had quarterbacks in this offseason. We've had Jared Goff, who was the number 1 pick in that draft. You have Carson Wentz, who's the number 2 pick now, going to the Indianapolis Colts, and we could have Deshaun Watson either going to, and I think the Carolina Panthers, and I think this is where Bucs fans should focus on this. The Carolina Panthers are definitely going to make a move for a quarterback. They tried to do it with Stafford. Of course, he went to the LA Rams. How do you see this Watson situation working out, in your opinion, Tampa Bay, Ray?
Wow, we don't want to see him come to the South.
Well, I mean, he may. They have the capital. They have the draft capital. They have the players. They could be trading a Christian McCaffrey, a Teddy Bridgewater. The Bucs have the defense, but look, that's a young quarterback that's going to be around for 10 to 15 years. You're getting one, and it's in his own backyard. Of course, he went to Clemson, won a national championship at Raymond James Stadium, which I still don't understand how he was drafted at the bottom of the first round. I don't know what the Bears are thinking, but that's neither here nor there. But if he goes to the Panthers, they're definitely upgraded at that point. They have the wide receivers. Of course, you're giving up a Christian McCaffrey, but most likely you can replace a running back. When you get a quarterback like that's that young, that's done what he's done, that definitely would give me some cause for concern if I'm a Bucs fan.
I'm a Panthers fan. Yeah, because let's be honest, Pete, as covering the Buccaneers, we've seen the talent that a Christian McCaffrey, who could possibly, if he could stay healthy all year and on the field, and they could utilize him if they didn't go through the Cam Newton effect. And I don't know how they're going to look at trying to get a Deshaun Watson. I don't see a team out there eating Teddy Bridgewater's contract. And it's not because the kid's not talented. I just think that they're going to look at this. They're going to realize that, there may be a team that wants to take on a salary like that, but the Panthers just brought him in a pretty not the largest free agent contract in 2020, but I think it was like somewhere in the neighborhood of $18 million a year or something. And there's probably I could be wrong on that, but there's probably going to be teams out there just like, we'll just wait the line on that. But as far as Deshaun going back to Carolina, that would definitely give us cause for concern for the next 5 to 8 years here in Tampa Bay. Absolutely.
Good stuff. Anything else?
Brother, I might call back because I still wanted to talk to you about David Ortiz's being out there now. And, went off to talk about the fact that we saw Johnny Damon that night. And, of course, we heard the news today with him being arrested for a DUI over there in Florida today.
That's a shame.
Not good news.
No, not good news. Yeah.
And everybody makes mistakes, but we had a great time that night. And I'm so glad you're able to post those clips today, brother, because it was a solid red carpet. And,
we'll probably post those clips later if you want to get on. We'll try to play that David Ortiz interview, Big Papi himself, Mr. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, Best of the Bay, Cup of Ray. What do you say here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television? Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you, all right?
Sorry for interrupting the monologue.
No. It's all good, man. It's all good. I just got to do my thing. Thanks a lot, brother. Appreciate you.
See you, brother.
All right, so there you go. Let's go out to the web heads, and we got a special guest. We got a couple of special guests. I told you we got hip-hop artist Mr. Dirty, who did the Buck 'Em Up song. We had that played before the week, actually a couple days before the Super Bowl. And then we also got Mr. Des Walker, who is a pass rushing specialist who has trained some of the creme de la creme pass rushers in the National Football League. That's right. That's what we give you here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. So let's go out to the webheads here. Your favorite troll is in the house, and this is what I do to greet you. Let's go Bucs, says Christopher Cole. Ben Parrish says, it's our time. We ain't going nowhere. Super Bowl champs. That's right. It's Friday night, and you can still sit here and say, Bucs fans, you're Super Bowl champions, world champions. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not trying to be PC here. They're friggin' world champions. Nobody else in the world plays in the National Football League besides the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're world champions. All right, let's go out to Roger Shue. Can we talk Lightning or Rays? Get over the Bucs. You can talk about whatever you want to, but I could go ahead and do this. I can ignore you. I guess we could talk some Rays and some Lightning, but we try to stick here with Tampa Bay Buccaneer football and National Football League, but we should use this as a rallying cry for going for two. Roger Shue says, you got crystal balls, laugh out loud, and you just got booed. How about that? I like that. See, it's always good to go back and forth, a little banter. Roger Shue, the troll there. Tom Brady, 53 touchdowns, including playoffs and quarterback sneaks, leading the NFL. Mic drop. Corey Brown, happy birthday, buddy. Missed it yesterday. It was your birthday, so good stuff. Absolutely. Corey says again, Tom Brady won first Super Bowl wild card 11-5. Roger Shue, Wentz to Godwin touchdown. Very funny, but that's what's being predicted right now. So we'll talk about it if you guys are concerned. I'll try to ease your concerns, if you will. Again, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I'll give my best guesstimate, and I may change that a couple days in a row. Who knows? All three players signable: Chris Godwin, Levante David, Shaq Barrett. Christopher Cole says Sue wants to be back too. We'll talk about that in a moment. Christopher Cole, if we stay healthy, we should have a great shot at winning again. Bucs time 12. This could be the best free agency ever. I almost want the Bucs to save their cash for free agency and try to improve the team overall rather than overpay guys for last year's run. Big Ben has a cap hit of 41.3 this offseason. Unbelievable. Marcus Mariota to the Pats is what I heard. He ain't all that. I don't understand it. I don't know what the Pats are doing. You have Deshaun Watson there. Give up your picks. You've already worked with Nick Cassero, who's in that front office. Houston's willing, most likely, to give you Deshaun Watson if you give him multiple picks. Do it. Do the deal, Bill Belichick. Put the Patriots back on the map. Marcus Mariota? Really? One game last year? We're already considering signing Marcus Mariota? Really? Why? What the hell has he done? One game with the Raiders? You're convinced? Boy, you guys have some terrible scouts out there if you think he deserves a long-term deal or even a one-year contract. He should be a backup quarterback, in my opinion. Wouldn't it be nice to get past this COVID and play next year in a full stadium? I think it's coming. What's up with O.J. Howard? Would he get a ring as well? Imagine if he was healthy this year. He gets a ring. He's on the team. We will restructure deals, and everyone will be back, minus Brate and Golston. Don't trip. I agree. That may be a possibility. Tell you what, let's go out to this man right here. Met him a couple years ago when things were different. You know, when fans were able to attend training camp at Bucs training camp. Gave him my card. Didn't have any idea. Kids, this is the reason why you should network with people. You never know who, when you give a card to somebody, who they turn out to be. And it just so happens Mr. Des Walker, a pass rushing specialist who has trained the likes of Cam Haywood. I mean, run down the list. Go ahead and intro yourself here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts, please.
How you doing, y'all? I'm Coach Des Walker, a.k.a. Samurai Sack, pass rush specialist out of Atlanta, Georgia. Trained the players from Cam Hayward, Max Crosby, Grady Jarrett, Montez Sweat, Justin Houston, Bud Dupree. The list goes on and on. So big thing for me is these pass rushers in the NFL, they come to me to get 10-plus sacks, man. I'm here to help them make the money, make the bread. And, hey, Blake, the crazy thing about it is, man, when we met them 2 years ago, man, the same deal. I didn't know how big time you was, man. It's a pleasure being on your show.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I don't necessarily think I'm big time, but hey, Bucs Report, a 69,000 following here on Facebook, of course, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and of course that Bucs Report Twitch channel, man. It's so glad to have you here. I got to talk about this Bucs defense. First and foremost, talk about these Bucs pass rushers in a JPP and a Shaq Barrett. I mean, amazingly, JPP still getting it done at a high level. Talk about those two guys on the outside starting this off.
So I'm going to start on the outside. You know, JPP, the OG, man, been doing it since his Giant days. You know, people was really concerned about, you know, when he blew up his fingers through them fireworks, that was he really ever going to be able to pass rush? Little do you know it, he has both moves and movement. Head fake, shaking, shivering, moving in and out and in, speed rush. So them fingers, man, it doesn't really play a role in terms of how well he can rush the passer. Now let's take it in to my man's Raheem Nunez Roches, a.k.a. Nacho. Did a great job replacing the Vita Vea throughout the season when he got hurt. Man, you know he's stopping that run, but, hey, he caused a lot of pressure, which is an underrated defensive tackle in this NFL. I like my man's Nacho. Next thing, you know, we got a rotation between, you know, William Gosselin and Ndamukong Suh. And, you know, Ndamukong Suh, hey, enough said, man. He's the dog, the anchor in there. That's to hold it down. You guys came in and replaced him with McCoy, and he actually did a pretty great job setting it in and helping them guys on the edge come in and get the sacks. Next thing we got, you already know, 2019 sack leader, He can do everything, man. Shaq Barrett is the modern day O.C. Yamanyor out of New York. One day he's doing all power rushes. Bam, bam. The next day he going in and out, head fake, cross chop. Man, he has a plethora amount of moves when it comes to this pass rush. And hey, Tampa Bay, you guys are lucky to have him.
All right, and the big talk has been with Shaq Barrett, getting him signed. He's going to be paid like a linebacker, possibly 13 to 15, maybe more. He's talked about breaking the bank. How much do you think a Barrett is worth to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the rest of the NFL, in your opinion?
He is an unrestricted free agent, which means y'all got to pay that man. 20 million a year, whatever it takes. Like Kobe used to say, hey, whatever's necessary, you need that man on your roster. You know, pass rusher comes a dime a dozen. There was a time when guys thought, what, Shaq Barrett, was he good enough? Was he a bust? No, that's not the case. All he needed was to learn moves, and he did. So, hey, man, this guy should get paid, man. Y'all need to stop playing.
Yeah, I definitely think the Bucs have a good problem on their hands. We're on with the pass rushing specialist, Mr. Des Walker.
Yes.
Once again, has trained the likes of Cam Haywood, Grady Jarrett. The list goes on and on. A lot of people would say Barrett's production dropped last year. What would you say to them? I mean, he wasn't doing anything different. Were the Bucs, in your opinion, using him in a different way to kind of cut down on his production? Or once again, does it come down to, sacks and bunches? It's all about the flow at that point. And if it's not flowing, you get sacks and bunches. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to happen. Pressure is just as good as sacks, right?
Yeah, in a way, but if you want to get paid, you got to get to the quarterback. I don't care how many pressures you got. It just is what it is. But I'll say this, Shaq Barrett, was more of a power rusher this year. But, hey, at the end of the day, man, he came in at the moment that you needed the most, which pass rushers does. Obviously executing the cross chop helped them up, set them up with power. Executing the cross chop set them up throughout the other series of the games. So although May games he might have not showed up, not so much from a stats point, but an impact point. Going back to what you said, but the biggest deal is, man, when the time was there, he executed, and the Super Bowl showed it, man. It was almost a little bit of a recap of not exactly, but the same thing of D. Ware and Von Miller coming off their edge against Cam Newton in that Super Bowl. Those guys were terrorizing. But the biggest thing is not so the bunch of the Bucs changing their scheme. He just changed who he was as a pass rusher. So if some of you Bucs fans are, OGs who can remember O.C. Yamanyor, he was known as Optimus Prime of the pass rush. Because why? He can change into any type of rusher at any time. So the same thing with Shaq Barrett. Some days you saw power. Some days he came in with the spin move, cross chop, head fake, side scissors. Hey, man, this whole time it was scripted, it was baited, it was premeditated for this to happen.
I love it. And I tell you right now, Vita Vea, speaking of making an impact, what type of impact did you see, especially in that Packer game? A totally different pass rusher, Des. And it shows because, look, you're not able to single-handedly block a 340 to 360-pound man, right? What do you see with the Vea in the middle of that defensive line?
Man, big Vita Vea, man. Big old bowling ball. The same thing when I tell my pass rushers here at the lab in North Atlanta at Chuck Smith Training Systems, hey, when you roll that bowling ball, what's going to happen throughout the course of the bowling ball? It's going to gain momentum. Man, that dude was coming off the line, and hey, although, he might not have as many sacks as what you think, but hey, all he needs to do was get 3 yards up the backfield, causing more pressure and more chaos for them guys on the edge to go get him. So he does a great job, even though the years when we was at the training camp, does a great job using his rip and coming back with the Reggie White hump. Man, Vita Vea, man, is dangerous.
Can he get better in your opinion? What does he need to improve on in your opinion to become elite, or already what you see on tape, he is elite?
Okay. One of my questions was, Vita Vea, what year is he going into, Blake? I'm sorry. So
I think it's about his third year going into right now. His third
year. Okay. So anything with these young pass rushers developing and showing that they could be a keystone on your team, or, both in the starter and in the rotation, the biggest thing is he needs to add in more primary pass rush moves. Whether it's the Bosa brothers using the side scissors, So the big thing is those guys with a lot of power, as they age, power starts destroying your shoulders. You start feeling it in your head. You start just feeling all over your body and knees. So the biggest things is for him to keep having an everlasting career and just keep going down in his young career is developing more primary rules with involving his hand and less of the power. That's going to help him increase his sack production down the line.
I want to read these comments from Ndamukong Suh to Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated. My goal is to come back, have an opportunity to go win another championship. Me and Tom Brady spoke the other day about that opportunity as well with Jason Light. I don't know if you saw our parade celebration on that podium. Coach BA said, I'm not going anywhere. He's usually a man of his word, so I look forward to the opportunity to continue to play, especially for Tampa. And I honestly believe I have a lot of elite, great talent left in me to play. I'm not ready to hang them up yet. My wife has given me the okay. That's first and foremost, and I got that permission. Of course, happy wife, happy life, and that wife has twins coming. So, of course, Suh is ready to earn a big-time paycheck. What do you see with him on film? Is he still as good as he used to be, and what can he improve on to get better next year?
Let me get this off the record, man. First thing first, I'm a Detroit native, so Suh always got a place in my heart, no matter what people think of him or whatever. But in terms of his Detroit days, even going far back to Miami days, he's not as I would say as agile as he was back then. But hey, man, he has one of them unique powers, such as jumpy gatherers, Cam Hayward and Hakeem Hicks that you just can't you just can't find that.
Yeah,
Blake, you understand? So the thing is, I don't know about the big payday if I'm a Bucs GM, but hey, you have to come to an agreement so we can possibly get JJ Watt, possibly get these other guys that will take a chance and come down here. So the big thing is, I feel like Suh should. I don't judge people's pockets, but he should think about if he wants this to be a dynasty, man, you got to share the cash, man. Just like an unselfish veteran player, all-pro player, Mike Evans, man, I will follow his lead.
Absolutely, and you're exactly right. It comes down to Tom Brady also being unselfish, possibly restructuring his deal as he's done that in his whole entire career. You mentioned Mr. Watt. They're big-time competition for his services. The Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers want him to go there. What do you see with him? Lots of injuries. Is he still a dominating player? And do you feel like the Bucs do have a legitimate shot because of course, the Brady factor?
Hey, man, the Brady factor. Another again, I'm going to refer back to my native in Detroit, Michigan fan. Brady from Michigan. So you know me, I'm on favoritism right now, Blake. So the big thing is with Tom Brady, come on, the GOAT, whether he's just being a QB manager or whether he's in his what I call his GOAT mode, coming downhill, picking the defense apart, he has, he has juice. He's the oldest man, has juice. Him watching him and LeBron at this different age doing what they're doing. I keep telling these people, even the younger generation of pass rushers I'm developing now in Atlanta, this isn't normal. All this is not, I want everybody to get all these critics or whatever, this is a not normal time. With the medicine, COVID, everybody's stepping up. So the big deal is, referring to your question is, man, you guys can do it because you got Bush, Davis in the back. You got your two edge on the front seven. You got you also got some young bucks and a proven Nacho who could come in and step in at that D tackle spot. You got a young Khalil Davis. I don't know if you was up on the draft last year with him and his brother being one of the most highest draft combine statistics since Aaron Donald, 1-2, both Carlos and Khalil Davis. You got some young guys behind there who might be hungry. So the biggest thing is you guys are in a great place where you can both develop both of that offense as well as the front seven, the defense that can come in and destroy. But you guys been doing a great job with that.
Yeah, you talk about the depth on this team. You also have an Anthony Nelson. I was high on him. He looked a lot like Carl Nassib did before Nassib left for the Raiders. Were on with Des Walker, pass rushing specialist, has trained many of NFL superstars that we'll definitely get into even more. But you also have Steve McClendon at the defensive tackle spot. Let's say they don't sign a Shaq Barrett. Von Miller comes to mind. The reason why I mention him, most likely he's going to be cut. He's 31 years old. He's coming off an injury-filled season. In your opinion, do you think Von Miller would fit a Todd Bowles' scheme if they decide, and it's a big if they decide to move on from a Shaq Barrett?
If I'm a GM, I wouldn't even do that, man. That's that's a low blow, man. Go from getting Shaq Barrett, him leaving, Von Miller coming in. You know, obviously the past history with it, Blake, in terms of, you know, Shaq being Von's backup and actually coming to Tampa Bay and proving that all he needed was moves.
Right.
So if you would go back and get Von Miller, man, I don't see the purpose of going older. I would just stay young, pay the man, figure it out. But in the case of that, no, Blake, I am not going that. That's another situation just like the Celtics with Isaiah Thomas getting traded for Kyrie Irving, the Celtics, and it's going to be chaos, Blake. We don't want that to happen. No chaos, man. We're in Florida, man.
Yeah, you don't want that chaos. You want the chaos on the line, not in the locker room and not in the situation. So yes on a Watt, no on a Miller. That's
absolutely. Because remember, Watt might take the pay cut. He's not in the career. He's okay with being and what I think of being a rotational player and coming in. You guys have a good depth of guys who can also rotate. They're young, and you got veterans to get them. Hey, Watt's probably not looking for the big paycheck, but the big thing is like watching First Take and whatnot. Hey, Tom Brady's enjoying Florida. He can play a few more years. He was used to getting that snow. The biggest thing is, I'm going to refer my Detroit referee, going back to Detroit. It's snowing. You're like, oh, man, now I'm in Atlanta. I'm energetic every day. I get the sunshine and whatnot. So guys that come down here, it's a rejuvenation type deal. You guys are a destiny, man. And, hey, man, it's a great place to be, man. Tampa Bay.
It really is. And right now, it's an elite organization with what they've done with the Tom Brady, of course, and that defense. I mean, talk about that defensive performance versus the Kansas City Chiefs. National pundits alike talking about how this defense is not going to be able to get it done versus a Patrick Mahomes and all those weapons because of the previous game in Week 12. But as I told a lot of people, the matchup was between the trenches. Consequently, you talked about that game versus the Carolina Panthers with Ware and Miller, where basically Miller took over the game, of course, against the Mike Remmers, who's on that left side. But what did you see out of that defense versus the Kansas City Chiefs? Total domination, right?
Oh, domination at its best, man. It was a you know, a thing of a person like me, a pass rusher. I love games like this. The average fan, boring. Why Mahomes not scoring 50, 60? Hey, it was poetry in motion for me. So the biggest thing is it shows the value of how much teams need pass rushers. So the biggest thing is, you know, coaches go to their day-to-day. They're not really teaching enough. They don't have, not say this. They don't have enough time in the day to so much develop players. So that's why they come to guys like me, Chuck Smith, my man's Javon Sensei down in South Florida. They'll come to guys like me to get better and work their moves. So with that being said is, a lot of people are going to start coming down here in Atlanta to come train with me to execute some of the moves that Shaq Barrett had success on. So we have some guys who realize both JPP and both Shaq is you got two types of players. You got dumb pass rushers and smart pass rushers, not dumb people. So I'm not going to say anything, but you guys changed some of your front seven throughout the years because why? Either they couldn't get it, or what? They were being dumb pass rushers, not dumb people. And the smart pass rushers, those are the ones that rejuvenate their career and do what the ones that are great does. Leonard Floyd out of the Rams just had a double-digit sack season, was in the lab with both Chuck and I throughout the whole summer working that cross chop, and look at him. Got a big payday because guys who get drafted high or even later in the rounds, it's not the fact that they can't do it. They just haven't been developed moves to execute the spacing they have in their both of their scheme and their alignment. You feel me? I'm saying on that, Blake?
Absolutely. And Chuck Smith was a Buccaneer terror. He used to tear Bucs. He was a hell of a pass rusher. Who are some of the guys that you worked with where you saw that progressive nature take place with
Mhm.
your training. And once again, go through this and talk
Mhm.
about what you legitimately do. I mean, how long is this program for? I mean, what does it all entail? I'm really interested in it, Des.
Okay. So here's the thing, man. Down here in Atlanta, Georgia, specifically in Johns Creek, where both Chuck and I does our pass rush specialists, where we're teaching the guys the art of pass rush. This is not speed and agility. This is not strength and conditioning. This is hardcore, raw moves. Everything we do and teach them, they will do the same thing in the game. So, for example, we'll get a guy like, veteran guys like Justin Houston that will come down here. They will learn, critique their moves, tune themselves up, especially with this COVID period that, the OTAs are off. Everything is no combine. Everything is going wild. Everything is going chaos. They will come to guys like me and understand when to use the pass rush moves, how to use it. If I'm in the if I play for a team like the Ravens where they're blitzing all over the place, how do I execute my move in my scheme? So understanding the angle, understanding why we approach it, understanding when, understanding your eyes. Where are your eyes at in my visual target? Am I looking at the ball as we've been taught our life? Or am I going to be like Richard Seymour? I'm looking at that near knee to me. So we find the keys for pass rushers for them to thrive. Every defensive lineman, every linebacker is different, but it's up for me to understand what works best for them so they can get a 10-sack season. My goal for guys is having a 10-sack season, and ultimately we'll get the rookies coming in. We'll get the college guys. Oh, Blake, we got to have a whole nother discussion when I got the draft guys coming in. I got some dogs coming in.
Well, we're definitely going to do that. We're definitely going to do that because I'm definitely interested to see what type of guys here. I'm a draft guy. I talk about it. What do you think the impact of not having a combine? It's kind of a shame because you get all those college athletes out there. They get the opportunity. It's their biggest job interview. What do you think the impact of that is going to be in this draft this year, if any? Because you didn't really have a lot of scouting last year. You still had a combine. Well, what's the impact this year in your opinion?
So the biggest thing with the impact is, man, you're going to see it's going to be two things. I'll say this. There's going to be a lot of people from smaller colleges, not so much smaller divisions, but just smaller FCS colleges, because I think a year ago or 2 years ago, they had a record number of players who was on the active roster from FCS schools. And obviously it was another status that you had a crazy amount of schools from Tampa Bay who were in the Super Bowl. But a lot of those guys, they might not get an opportunity due to the fact there's going to be limited pro days, and the evaluation period is going to be off. So unlike me, where I'm seeing these guys in the gym, I already know who can play. I already know who can do head face, who can come in and be a dominant rusher from day one. So the biggest thing is a lot of people and a lot of GMs and scouts, they're going to miss out. And there's going to be a lot of players who's going to miss out due to the fact that it's not the normal way of, how can I say, the player evaluation. So there's going to be a lot of miss outs. Secondly, there's going to be some draft disappointment, because during this time, man, if it was a combine appearance and you didn't show up and you came out of shape, you're not working hard, you're out there partying, and you get to the team and you haven't been working on your pass rush skills, or that nevertheless any skill, you're going to see that in the rookie camps, the OTAs. So you can't get a good feel for who might be the next. So unlike me, where I'm with these guys, 24/7, they come into the facility getting the work in. I can speak on them. The scouts and the players, realistically, they can't really judge them because they only know them for maybe 45 minutes or maybe an hour, and then they have to you have to make a pick based on a workout, 45 minutes to an hour. And you got to watch film and the whole 9 yards, but you truly can't get a sense of who will be the next. So that's why we'll get teams like the Raiders, the Falcons, Tampa Bay and a plethora of teams. They'll come talk to us because they want to see what's the next coming. Who should be looked out?
Yeah, I mean, and you trained a Max Crosby, who's in the National Football League. We're on with Des Walker here. I mean, talk about his development. I mean, he's a big time guy. The Raiders are looking to. I think he was a 4th-round pick or something,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
he's been productive ever since he's been in the NFL. Talk about him and what he needs to get better at for him to really ascend to that elite level, in your opinion.
Man, Max got to keep doing what he's doing, man. Max Crosby does a great job using the size fit scissors. Max Crosby does a great job using his movement. Max Crosby has a great understanding of how and when to use pass rush move, incorporating with his technique and alignment. So the big part about Max is going back to Detroit, Eastern Michigan, straight out of Ipsy. So I got, hey man, Michigan, the mecca of football. I'm just saying. But anyway.
Well, I think Florida would have something to say
Yeah.
now, Des. Now,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah, okay, I got
I
you.
know what you're saying, though, buddy.
Yeah.
I really know.
Max Crosby is man, he's a straight junkyard dog. The biggest thing is that's going to add to his game. The more and more experience as he get into it, man. Max Crosby, he's going to just keep using and adding on moves to moves he already has. So a lot of things is Max Crosby was overlooked, man. But hey, that didn't affect him, man. The dog mentality with a mixture of technique, man, he turned his instinct into knowledge, dog. And now he just got to be a consistent player, man. He's going to have years when he goes 10, 10, 10. Might pop up for a 15. Would not be surprised. Has a great spin move, man. Max Crosby, man, he can do a lot of rushes, man. The Raiders, hey, they caught a lot of heat for trading Khalil Mack, man. But, hey, as you can see right now, man, they're building their pieces and stacking their chips, man. Gruden's doing a great job out there.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to do a great job of building that defense, and that's where it has to be built. Of course, defense wins championship. Offense sells tickets at the end of the day. Who's the best pass rusher right now, in your opinion, Des? Is it an Aaron Donald? You also had a Hendrickson from New Orleans. I believe he tied for the lead. Who's the best pass rusher, in your opinion? And how impressed were you with, I believe it's Tyler Hendrickson, the defensive end, who definitely had Donovan Smith's number the first 2 games of the year?
So obviously, man, you got to go last couple of years. You got to go with AD, man. AD is killing the guys, using the cross chop, side scissors, but really making an impact where he's using the cross chop. I remember back when, their AD needed help. AD had help. AD got help now. Leonard Floyd using the cross chop. So he has had a good impact with a various of players around him to be able to pass rush and also stop the runs. We got my man's Gaines that played right next to him. Some people thought he was too small, but honestly, hey, a big dog in the middle right next to Aaron Donald. So the biggest thing is, man, Aaron Donald's in the place where, I hate to say it, my OG's out there. He might be the GOAT, man. And that's tough to swallow because, you got Sapp in the middle, you got John Runner, but I'm saying he might be number 1. He's the fastest Hall of Famer ever in the NFL. Fastest Hall of Famer. If you take his first, 5, 6 careers and said, all right, you ain't got to play no more, go home, that's the first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. Fastest Hall of Famer ever, man.
So you stack him up versus a Warren Sapp, and
I'm stacking him up. I'm sorry, against Reggie White, man.
Wow,
that's how special this guy Aaron Donald is. I know a lot of these OGs in the comment section gonna take some heat, man. But hey, I'm gonna let you know, man. The millennials gotta speak up, dog. This, like I said, this is not normal. This is not normal, man. This guy is killing it, dog. So the biggest thing is I'm going with my man's AD number 1. Been holding it down for a while. There's some sleepers out there, but we'll talk about that another time. But next thing, man, it's always great to have great, veteran pass rush around you from Cam Jordan, man. I believe he has 100 sacks right now. So that's amazing, with that and him having help with them and understanding how they can work together and setting up their moves. So he had some big help across the line and good organization gives the players around them not only time to develop, but they're also patient with the right ones to develop. There's been guys who've been patient who hasn't had the wrong ones to develop. So the biggest thing is, man, hey, he has a great unit around him to help him thrive in this thing. But hey, a lot of people, man, caught a lot of people off guard.
Reggie White, it was always the slap to the helmet. I think that would be, yeah, it would be illegal these days with some of the slaps he did. I mean, describe him, break down his game. What made him so great, the Minister of Defense, Reggie White?
The Minister of Defense. So the biggest thing is, man, Reggie White, a straight dog. So what Reggie White had a good speed rush off the hump. So one of the most unstoppable moves, to some of my viewers who are not, really familiar with a lot of different primary pass rush moves, Reggie, if you thought Dwight Freeney's spin move was unstoppable, Reggie White, it times 50. Hump move was unstoppable. So we was just watching some of his film the other day. So the biggest part is, back in those days, in the 90s, the 80s, all the way through the 90s, you got these big old jumbo DNs.
Yeah.
These DNs that would be, noses, 3 techs nowadays. So with Reggie White, he would come in. You're not stopping him with a power. He's the perfect pass rusher. You can't build no other thing. So he'll come in, set up with the speed, come in, come back with the hump. But everything, like I said, the great pass rushers, they know what they're doing. Everything is premeditated. So the biggest part about Reggie White is, man, he had a great job selling his speed. And once he got his guy going throughout the game, hump move. Guys didn't even know when it was coming. So when they didn't know when it was coming, man, that's why he put a lot of guys, going back to Detroit reference, he was putting guys on T-shirts, which means man, he was killing guys with the hump, dog.
I love it. Des Walker here, pass rushing specialist, trained many NFL superstars from the past and now, going on here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Let's talk about Simeon Rice, not in the Hall of Fame. What's this all about? And talk about Simeon Rice's game. All speed, but he definitely had some moves also, right? Why, Des, is he not in the Hall of Fame by now?
Man, this year it was tough for the pass rush family, what we call ourselves, the pass rush family. Simeon Rice, Richard Seymour, guys got snubbed, man. These, you know how it is. Things, not so much of what he didn't do. Things come up when, you got Megatron, Peyton Manning coming up. It'll take time, and you know how it is. Things fade out. People got a short-term memory, Mike. This I don't care. Old generation, young, everybody's having a short-term memory with this mass media and everything. But the biggest part is I wasn't concerned about what he didn't do, because he's one of those all-time great rushers. Got a great counter move, great primary move off the edge, great with power, great with movement. And the biggest thing, as he was selling with his hands, man, he had great eyes. I would say this. For him being in the Hall of Fame, man, his eyes were great. Tech was great. When he had his get off, he knew what his visual key was. Whether it's when, the quarterback, the center sit his butt down and he taking off, or when quarterback's right here, having his hand right here. Once he sees that, he's taking off. Derek Thomas, by the way, rest in peace. But the biggest thing is he has great vision, man, and I love the way he worked in the past.
Do you teach somebody like a pass rusher to, basically get your hands into the quarterback's hands to knock that ball out? Because it seemed like Rice had that ability. We see that with Shaq. Is that something you teach with, training pass rushers?
Mm-hmm. So when we pass rush, we have a whole progression. Obviously, starting with the get off. Next thing, we work at the spot. So some of the guys you might see, for example, Leonard Floyd example, he's great with getting off the ball. But once he learned how to execute, when he gets there, he took off. Shaq Barrett would be another great example of that. Once he figured out what to do at the spot, the engagement between the offensive lineman and the defensive lineman, for my viewers who not really into pass rush. Once he figured out how and when to use it and where, when he was at the point of engagement, then you can start beating people. And then obviously the next thing we'll teach them to finish with a rip 99.9% of the time. And once they're at another engagement point between the quarterback and the pass rusher, we teach them to wrap up and then key in on the ball right afterwards. Because remember this, some guys, they'll come out and reach. You'll see this all the time, Blake. Some guys, they'll come out and reach, and they might miss the ball. We want our guys to get paid. So we wrapping up, and then we coming over the top and getting the ball out. That's the biggest deal. Let's get these guys paid and get the ball out at the same time. Wrap
All
and come over top and knock that ball out.
Absolutely. You're exactly right. Now, in your opinion here, who is the best defense of all time based strictly off of that line? And I think we lost him there. That's a shame. So we'll have to get him back. We'll see if we can get him back on. But a great guest there. I mean, the guy is a pass rushing specialist. Let's see if we can get him back on here because we did have some Wi-Fi problems. Let's get him back on. We got him back on. Based off of just that defensive line and that pressure, who is the greatest defense of all time in your opinion? Go.
Ooh. Put me on the spot like this, Blake.
Hmm?
The greatest defense of all time.
Yep. Are the Buccaneers in that conversation?
Hey, okay, I gotta give, since it's my Bucs fans, I gotta give it to the Bucs. You guys are in that conversation. Going back to the reference, it's not normal. This is not a normal year, man. Everything was shortened. Everything was just it wasn't regular, man. You got little kids. You got my little brother. He's 5 years old. Hey, big bro. Hey, don't forget your mask. I'm like, oh dang, you're growing up in this generation. That's crazy to me. So, the biggest thing is they have to be considered due to the fact that it's not normal. Everything take it add. You got to add value in the fact that they have to understand that chemistry is built on the defense as well as talent. You can put all the talented guys in the world, man, together, and it cannot work out. You guys didn't manage egos, so hey, in my opinion, you guys are in the discussion, man. I would say in the top 5 region, maybe top 10, but hey, since it's not normal, I give you guys in there, man.
Well, I was going to say the 2002 defense with Warren Sapp, a Sam Price, a Greg Spires, of course, Anthony Booger McFarland.
Oh, yeah, man.
Talking about that type of defense, but you mentioned this one, and I kind of throw it at Bucs fans all the time. This was a defense that, look, during the season was inconsistent, but in the postseason played well. And when you look at the quarterbacks, you slayed a Drew Brees, you slayed an Aaron Rodgers, and you slayed a Patrick Mahomes. So your defense should definitely be up there. But in your opinion, all time, are the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, should they be considered one of the greatest defenses of all time with not only the season effort, but also the postseason effort in the Super Bowl?
Postseason effort, man. Hey, man, you that was a hard defense to stop. Like, with a D tackle being your anchor and winning, defensive player of the year at his size and weight and having that, how can I say it? Guys, don't kill me for this, but I want to say it like this. If you think Chase Young is a great leader defensively on my younger viewers on the Washington Redskins, Warren Sapp was him times 50 in terms of leadership, maybe times 1,000 in terms of leadership. He had that Ray Lewis type impact in terms of leading a defense. Warren Sapp, an all-time goon, man, leading them guys. Hey, you guys are, one of the top defensive out there in any era. You guys can go back in the day, and I would match that up. I would like to have the year Von Miller at Super Bowl with Cam Newton and the Broncos. That whole defense with Ward in the back. Was that Chris Harris in the back as well? Akeem Talib. That was a great defense as well. And you got them Ravens, man.
Yeah.
Ravens, 2000 Ravens, enough said. But my thing is, I would go Ravens 1. I would go, now you got them Steelers,
Bears,
man.
85
You got them Bears. You got the 85 Bears.
Yeah, the Steel Curtain. I mean,
hey, it's so much, man. You can't. The thing is, you can't go wrong, man. You can't go wrong.
Right.
But hey, I'll put my hat on Tampa Bay because why? You got a D tackle as the anchor, man. You know me. I'm towards favoritism.
I love it. Love it. Des Walker here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Talk about that Washington football team a little bit. You have Chase Young. You have Montez Sweat, who you're familiar with. Talk about that defensive line as a whole. I mean, they're scary to me. They're scary good. You have the two guys on the outside, of course, Chase Young, Sweat, and then Daron Payne, and of course, Jonathan Allen, those two hosses from Alabama. You love the talk defensive tackle play. Talk about that Washington football team and how good that defense is going to be, not only this year, but with the years going forward.
With the years going forward, Blake, it's going to be something special, man. I seen this a mile away. So the biggest part about it is Chase Young, two guys on the edge. Not comparing them to Von and Shaq, but they're going to have that same impact at pivotal moments, man. So I was blessed to work with Montez Sweat throughout the years, and when Montez does a great job using that long arm, saw scissors, head fake in, coming back out, but also you got another Ohio State dog on the other side. Chase Young. With Chase Young, him working that side scissors, counter spin, movement, long arm club. He got a plethora. He was ready day one. The heck, even if he would have played in that Ohio State year, he would have been ready day two. So the thing is, when you have a great line, it's always great to have counterparts. Darren Payne, like you just said, was with us throughout the summertime. Showed a great job of being able to rush on the inside. So right now, people think it's a 1-2 punch. Hey, man, years down the line, it's going to be a 1, 2, 3, and, man, it's going to be hard for the guys to stop because you can't key in on one guy. If you key in on one guy, you will get burnt by the other guy. So you're keeping the offensive linemen honest. Keeping them honest, man. And
yeah, you're absolutely keeping them honest. You're exactly right. Let's talk about it. Nick Bosa or Joey Bosa, who's better and why?
Dang, man. It's just what you want? You want an apple? You want an orange?
What are the differences between the apples and oranges? I mean, I know you're comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah.
They're different skill sets, but why is one better than the other? And who has more potential? I think I know the answer already. What makes one better than the other? Go ahead and break that down.
I believe Nick was hurt this year, right?
Yes, he was. Yes.
Nick was hurt. So, one season of it, I would say he's a good pass rusher. He's a great pass rusher. But in his class, the best pass rusher of that class was Matt Crosby, flat out. So, flat out. I want to say this with Joey Bosa. He has, it's kind of hard to compare right now just due to the fact he has some years on him. And,
right.
He's not really on a good team right now. So you don't get broadcast much. So you can't see his greatness. But as of right now, it's kind of too early to call. But I'm going with Joey because I feel like he will be more consistent down the line, man. And he has, I believe, a better help with Melvin Ingram on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the Chargers, they should have won more games than they did.
Yeah.
Very professional rookie quarterback. He definitely looks like the sky's the limit. Coaching was bad, but they have the defensive talent. Of course, it didn't help with Derwin James missing. So, once again, go ahead, promote yourself, tell everybody who you are, and we're definitely going to have you back here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts, all right?
What's up, y'all? I'm Coach Des Walker, a.k.a. Samurai Sack, out of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a pass rush specialist, man. If you want to get your child from youth, high school, college going to the pros, NFL, if you want 10 sacks, you need to come to the lab, man. The lab where we're working different pass rush moves. We're helping these guys get production. And them dads out there, if you don't want to be mad, sitting in them stands because your son isn't producing, come see me at Chuck Smith Training Sessions. Your boy, Coach Des Walker, a.k.a. Samurai Sack. Live life every day like it's 3rd and 8.
I love it. The Samurai Sack himself, Mr. Walker, will definitely have you on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, the Sports Web, live on Bucs Report. Thanks. I love the energy, okay?
Hey, I appreciate it.
I love defense. I love the energy. We say 3 things on this show.
Yeah.
Bring your passion, bring your excitement.
Yeah.
Just don't bring any nonsense, and you definitely brought that tonight. You didn't bring nonsense. You brought the other stuff. So we'll definitely get you on the future. Want to hear from you about these future prospects in the draft. Yes, absolutely. Sounds good, buddy. Thanks a lot for your time.
Appreciate
all right?
it, Blake. Stay in touch, man. I'll hear from you soon.
All right. Sounds good. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's somebody that brings it to the table, right? I always talk about Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. It's where I go and pig out. And I absolutely put on those LBs, and I don't have a problem with it. I hope Thanksgiving is right around the corner because I'm tired of eating grilled chicken in my air fryer. Although the air fryer is a saving grace because I can't cook worth a squat. We all know that. I did a free agent show, nearly burned down my kitchen because of it. I can't cook. I need to hire somebody to cook. So thank God for the air fryer. But with that being said, he brings it to the table. He's not bringing some beets. He's not bringing some pie. He's bringing that turkey. He's bringing that mashed potatoes and gravy. He's bringing the good stuff to the table. And he brought it tonight here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Mr. Des Walker, pass rushing specialist. What do you guys think? We'll definitely have him on in the future. I can definitely see that in my crystal ball. You jerks. I'm not going to say the other thing, what you want me to say. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. He did a great job and definitely look forward to hearing from him. Let's go back out to the webheads here. Read some of these comments. Let's see here. Wentz to Godwin for the touchdown. I read that one. Had to read it again. All three players signable. Chris Godwin, Levante David, Shaq Barrett. Yes, Sue wants to be back. We talked about that. What was your thoughts on those comments? Circling back to that, let me read them again. Albert Breer, not Briere, because that makes me think of cheese. We don't want to do that. Sports Illustrated states that Sue was crystal clear. Crystal. No doubt. No doubt that he wants to come back. All right, let's go out to Jim really quick. We'll read these comments. Jim, welcome to the Evolution. What's on your mind? Jim. Jim, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Hey, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? Welcome to the Sports Web.
Hey, how you doing, Peter, Blake?
I'm doing great, man. We just had a great coach on here talking about pass rushing specialist and pass rushing. I'm fired up now. He fired me up. I'm ready to become a pass rusher. I don't think I can do it, though. I'm only 180 pounds. I got to build up a little bit. Maybe I need to eat a little bit more Thanksgiving dinners. Put those LBs on.
Yes, sir. I like that. I should have went to his pass rushing school in high school, man.
Oh, yeah?
He don't look that old himself.
Who?
The coach.
Oh, no, the coach. He's a coach. He's teaching guys. I would not doubt that this guy, the Samurai Sack, he knows what he's talking about. He does. He definitely knows.
Sure. I like his interview.
Yeah, he's good.
He sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he does. He definitely knows what he's talking about. He's trained some NFL professionals in his illustrious career at this point. We're going to definitely feature him here on the Sports Web. So what's on your mind, man? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are world champions. Are you still is it still hitting you here? What's going on with you, Jim?
Oh yeah, man. I wore 2 chains.
Oh, you wore 2 chains. Okay.
Tampa 2.
Okay.
Chains, 2 championships.
Okay.
Well, let's keep it going.
Okay.
I was worried. People have been talking about maybe if we can't keep, the defense, the contract years. So they was talking about maybe what's his name?
Losing a Shaq Barrett or possibly losing a Chris Godwin. I've heard the same stuff. I've heard this. Yeah, I've heard the same stuff. Yeah.
They said one more, Levante David.
Yeah, Levante David's also a free agent. Rob Gronkowski. But again, that stuff is going to be settled eventually. We have you're still a month away. We'll see what happens with the cap. Once again, the National Football League, the numbers may get inflated for that cap. It may not necessarily be $180 million because if they sign a new TV deal, then the cap would increase. But I agree, the Bucs definitely have their work cut out for them, and they have some big decisions that they're going to have to make. And a lot of people are looking at Chris Godwin and Shaq Barrett and saying, well, if you pay one, you're not going to be able to pay the other. In your opinion, who would you pay? Would it be a Shaq Barrett or a Chris Godwin?
Oh, I'm a defensive guy, so I would go Shaq Barrett. But I like Chris Godwin. I don't want to get rid of him.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying too. But you may have to franchise him, so it'll cost you about $15-16 million that you have to do. So they'll figure this out. And again, I think it comes down to the Brady effect, but they're going to have some money. They're definitely going to have some work to do. They're going to have to redo some contracts and stuff like that. And once they do, then most likely they'll be able to free up some money. But right now, according to Greg Allman of The Athletic, they're about 13.4. That's how much cap room they have. So they have some definite work to do. That's for sure.
Yeah, man, I hope they can get it worked out. I mean, I think, Jason Light's been doing a good job working that money out. So.
Oh, I agree. Jason Light and Mike Greenberg and John Spytek have done a hell of a job of signing guys and getting guys under the cap and making sure that, you're flexible. And that's where you're at right now. That's the reason why you're not over the cap, or you're not like the New Orleans Saints where you're in cap hell. So we'll see how that works out, right?
Yes, sir. I'll see how that NFC South looking next year.
Well, it could it could be convoluted, my friend, because there's talk of the Carolina Panthers and going after Deshaun Watson. That will change the complexion of the division. It would make Carolina definitely a competitor in that division. You get a quarterback like that who's very good and who's been very good with bad talent, and you put him around some talent. And I'm not saying the Carolina Panthers are Super Bowl worthy, but it definitely gives them an opportunity to scare the hell out of some teams, especially with the 24, 25-year-old quarterback.
Right. Yeah, I like Deshaun Watson, but can he handle that cut? Can he handle Tampa Bay?
Well, that's that he wasn't able to handle it with the Houston Texans. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to handle it now. It's a good point. It's a great point, and it's a good thing that the Bucs have what they have, and that's why it's so important to get Ndamukong Suh back. It's so important to get a Shaq Barrett back. So we'll see how that works out. What else, Jim?
I like the big boys. Ndamukong Suh's interviews was like, man, I want to stay,
Yeah.
no matter what, pretty much.
He seems like he wants to stay, that's for sure. And he made it crystal clear to Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer that he wants to. We'll read those comments again, Jim. Tell you what, let me go ahead and fire those cannons for you right there. I appreciate the call, man, and keep on calling the Sports Web here in the offseason, all right?
Yep, sure enough.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot. There you go. Jim right there from Ohio calling in. Open phone line. We'll get on Dirty, the hip-hop artist who did the song Buck 'Em Up. And, of course, we'll take your phone calls. If you have a question for him or anybody else, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let me read these comments, and then we'll get out to Dirty here. Let's go out to Eric Scott. We will restructure deals. Everyone will be back, minus Brayton Golston. Don't trip. Read that. I think that's a good comment. I agree, Pete. Mariota has done. He has not done enough to deserve a starting role unless you're a team that is super desperate. UCAN says, are we still Super Bowl champs? Yes, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still Super Bowl champs on Friday night. Yes. Please ask your pass rush specialist how hard it would be to replace Shaq's production. People claim it would be hard because Shaq depends on Vita Vea for his better games. We asked him that, and you could see his response. He does not want the Bucs to get rid of a Shaq Barrett, being as young as he is, and how he proved himself on a one-year deal. Then with the 19.5 sacks, and now with the sack production down, but still getting after it. He would not like to see them go after a Von Miller for a Shaq Barrett. That was his response. Your Saints have been Super Bowl champs and haven't been Super Bowl champs in over a decade, but you knew that already. Just bring in your nonsense. That's okay. We can go ahead and accept the trolls here. I like trolls. Golston is underrated, absolutely, as Nacho is. Nacho is underrated. He even talked about it. 2022 Super Bowl or bust. I like it. You can for the Bucs, of course. Bucs time 12. Saints ain't winning crap in 2022. Book it. You can says Vita Vea, a.k.a. Big Girl. Carl says Vea is a perfect fit for the speed of this defense. Bucs time 12. Troll fail. Sue was known as Big Girl, not Vea. You can, I guess I don't know what he's doing. He's perplexed. I don't know what that is. Must suck being a Saints fan, knowing we broke your quarterback into a rib steak eye sandwiches, and now you are 100 billion over the salary cap and pinning your hopes on Jay Boo. Cornell says, what's up? Christopher Cole says, I like this guy, Des. I like him too. That's why we had him on. Definitely appreciate that, Christopher Cole. I think they're going to let Godwin go if he wants a lot of money. We'll see. My thought process again, do you bring in a Tom Brady to get rid of some of his weapons? I get it. You may not necessarily have the money, but if Tom Brady goes to the ownership or the organization or Jason Light and redoes his deal so you can have extra money to sign a Chris Godwin, if a Mike Evans is willing to restructure, if other guys are willing to restructure, why is it out of the realm of possibility for the Bucs not to get most of the players back? Not saying all. I could see a Leonard Fournette moving on. I like playoff Lenny. I do. I like Lombardi Lenny. But at the end of the day, does he want to be a backup to a Ronald Jones? Does he want to share carries, or does he want to go get paid from another team? Certainly possible for him to go get paid from another team. You could lose him. You could have some cuts, possibly a Brate. We've been talking about Cameron Brate for the last couple of years here, being cut or traded. He hasn't been yet. So OJ Howard's coming back. So we'll see how that works out. That could be a position where they look. William Golston making lots of money. Maybe they restructure his deal. So there you go. Gerardo says, hate to see it though. Sean says Super Bowl champs. Christopher Cole. I'm saying it now. The Bucs will have the first female defensive coordinator in the NFL. She might even be on the staff right now and might take over for Bowles. Wow. That's a prediction. PB, I missed you, brother. Still celebrating. It's going to be like this till for a while. I love it. Celebrate. Sean missed you too. Let Brady cook. I said what I said. LFG. Sean again. Fire those cannons as we shall. Dan says, I'm a couch potato specialist. I think there's a lot of people out there that could be a couch potato specialist. Pay them all, damn it. LFG. Sean says, to all the trolls out there, take this. Yes. Two. All right. And with that being said, I know that there was a certain hip-hop artist that we had on this show who did the song Buck 'Em Up, who was really thrilled after that Bucs victory over the Kansas City Chiefs 31-9. Let's get him in here. Mr. Dirty, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, and your thoughts, my friend, on that 31-9 thrashing of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh man, that was fantastic. It was everything that I hoped it would be and more. There's, as a Bucs fan, there's nothing really that you could ask for. We were supposed to not make it to the Super Bowl. There was a reason that we couldn't beat every team that we beat, and then there was a reason that we beat them. And the Chiefs were that was the last line of defense for national media. Everybody really, there's no way they're going to beat the Chiefs. And then to just walk in there and punch them in the mouth and just keep punching them in the mouth. And then.
Yeah, that's true. And I got to read this comment because I got to correct you, Sean. I love you too, bro. But thank you, PB. I love you and this podcast. It's not the podcast. Podcasts are recorded. They can be edited. This is the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's across the stream radio and TV show here live on Bucs Report. I'll forgive you for it. I'll go ahead and fire those cannons. I appreciate you as always. So what were you more surprised by? Were you more surprised by Gronkowski going off in this game with 2 touchdowns, or this defense basically dominating from start to finish over these Chiefs?
Gronk wasn't really a surprise. Like he's going to get his sooner or later, and what better time to do it than pay dirt. It's money time. That's what Tom and Gronk do. The defense, I think everybody knew coming in. Like the second half of that game last time, we kind of got our heads out our asses, and the season started to turn. It felt like we were like, all right, we know what needs to be done. Now we just got to do it. And then they had 2 weeks to get ready for it, prepare for it, and they executed exactly what they were supposed to do. There was no fails in it. Granted, there was a couple drops that helped us out there. Mahomes on his, magician stuff, but everything, our coverage was great. We made them here, take a little bit, and you know what I mean? Beat us, be better than us, out physical us, and they couldn't do it. That I think was much more impressive to me, or surprising. I don't want to say surprising because I knew we could do it. It's just when you see it executed like that, nobody thinks that it's going like that. We kept the Chiefs out of the end zone, man. You know what I mean? Like
3 field goals, and they try to score at the end. And of course, Devin White with the cherry on with the interception. I mean, again, talk about White's play in this postseason. I mean, if you're going to pick an MVP besides a Tom Brady and a Gronkowski, it's got to be Mr. White, right?
Oh yeah, Devin White's been a beast the whole time, and his play's been off the charts. But I mean, we've all knew that's there and that was coming. My favorite thing since this happened is Devin White's media run after this, to where he's just shutting everybody up. Like, here's your crow and your humble pie, eat it. And then he's not biting his tongue. He's not saying nothing. He's like, yeah, we beat him up. Like, we knew we were going to do that. We sunned him. And then he's like, I'm the best linebacker. Like, I love that he's actually somebody's gonna go ahead and beat their chest a little bit for us. You know what I mean? Like it's cool to be humble and good sports and all that, but when you do the damn thing, you deserve to go ahead and let everybody know, like, hey, you're on notice. Now you got to deal with us. Here we are. We'll see you next year.
How impressed were you with those outside pass rushers, Dirty, with the JPP and, of course, the Shaq Barrett really getting after it? I mean, once again, that infusion of Vita Vea in that middle really did the trick, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. They had I think JPP, when they said, are you worried about Patrick Mahomes? And he's like, Patrick Mahomes needs to be worried about me. I think that was one of the most accurate statements leading into that, because those guys off the edge, even when Mahomes would go, I know he ran for like 497 yards to try to throw passes, but on plays when like Vea broke it off and couldn't get to him, you'd have JPP and Shaq still running this dude down on the edge. You know what I mean? Like they didn't quit on plays. And after a while, you could just see heartbreak in this poor man's eyes as he's scrambling around and he knows somebody's going to get him. He doesn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, running for 500 yards. That's what Pro Football Focus figured out. That's what Mahomes was doing behind the line of scrimmage, running for his life all night long. And that's the characteristic of great defense. And the other thing about this team that I really liked was not only the defense, but also running the ball, especially with Leonard Fournette and a Ronald Jones. Talk about that running attack that really came alive in this postseason.
Oh, that was great. I don't know. I just read the thing about I guess like week 14 when BA had that talk with Leonard Fournette. And then after that, it just seemed, I mean, none of us knew that happened, but after that, it seemed like everything just kind of clicked up another notch. And when you put the 1-2 of the victim of volume and playoff Lenny, dude, oh man, it's a perfect compliment, because then it starts opening up play action. The trenches, the guys just get to dig in and just beat people up. I know the line's loving that. So like that, I think it was the perfect time for it to come together. And if somehow we can sustain that, if he sticks around, if Fournette sticks around and we could do that, I mean, I believe Vaughn could do good too. Like we have options, but that running game, like the way that it is right now, just getting tuned in, that's a problem. That's just another layer that people got to deal with. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, what you're referring to is basically playoff Lenny and Lombardi Lenny possibly being cut. That's what the article was referring to. So it's amazing, the circumstances with Rojo going out with an injury and then going out with COVID, how he got his opportunity, and he definitely shined. With that being said, there's been talk in free agency that he could go somewhere else. In your opinion, do you think Leonard Fournette goes somewhere else, or do you think somehow, some way, the Bucs re-sign him?
I hope that he doesn't go anywhere else, but I can't. As for our whole free agent class, man, I can't. I really would like for them to keep everybody together, but as you know, like it's a business. So I know that he talks a lot about his relationship with Tom and with BA and just the team in general and how he likes it. If there's a way they can make it work, even if it's just for a year or two, I think that's probably like our biggest thing with everybody here. If everybody really wants to make this work, like I know Godwin and Shaq and everybody need to get paid, but if somebody's willing to take a 2-year thing, just put this together, you know what I mean, and make it work financially for the team to win now. And then after the fact, if you can't get a long-term deal in Tampa, go get paid. You know what I mean? Like I heard you talking about Golston. Golston got a ring. Golston's one of the OG Bucs that's been here forever. He got his ring. If for whatever reason they severed ties, he'll go get paid somewhere else. I wouldn't be mad at that. You know what I mean? I would love for Fournette to be back, but also you understand the dude got cut. He came in. He's like, yeah, I can still ball. If he wants to get paid, he's still young though. You know what I mean? So it's going to be on what they want to do, and I'm not mad at them either way. You got one. Let's go get two. Let's go get three.
I mean, that's what it comes down to, and you absolutely have the opportunity here, Dirty, to get 2 or 3 as long as you have Tom Brady at the controls. The other concern about free agency has been, Shaq Barrett and his comments about breaking the bank possibly. And of course, coming off the 19 and a half sacks a couple years ago, 8 sacks this year, he possibly could be in for a big payday. And then, of course, Chris Godwin. At this point, let me give you this. Who would you choose? You only get one, Godwin or Shaq Barrett. And do you think, in your opinion, the Bucs can retain both of those players, or are they going to lose one or several of these free agents because of the money situation?
Well, I mean, overall, we're gonna lose somebody. There's just too many. Like if you go down the list, like even when you like Gronk and AB, you just go the whole way up through. There's not going to be enough money for everybody. Out of Godwin and Shaq, I would say pay Shaq and keep. I love Godwin, but we're deep at receiver. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're not quite as deep at the end. Like he's one of the most elite pass rushers in the league. Pay the man. He's young. Like let's make him an anchor. And then if that's what I was saying with the other stuff, like with Godwin, if Godwin can tread water for 2 years or whatever, and they can work something out where he's paid, he's compensated, and then we'll get you in another year or two, we'll extend you or whatever. That would be awesome. If anybody can do it, Jason Light can do it. Like that dude is a monster. So if there's a way to make it work, I think they can. But we're going to lose some guys. But I would say definitely we need to get Shaq and Levante. But that's just depth.
I think that's the prevailing opinion by a lot of Bucs fans. They would like Shaq and, of course, Levante. They want to keep this defense intact. And you talk about it, AB's a free agent, but most expect him back. So if you lose a Godwin, at least you have an Antonio Brown. You also have a Tyler Johnson and a Scotty Miller, and you can always go into the draft and do it. My thing is, if Tom Brady is willing to restructure his deal, Mike Evans is willing to restructure his deal, I don't see it out of the realm of possibility because this organization is so fantastic with doing contracts in the past where you couldn't see them bringing back the majority of the players.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I completely agree, man. Like it's a team first. The culture is different now. So it's like, even with it being a business and everything, there's people aren't, it's not always going to be money first, me first. Because now there's something like legit could be a dynasty right here. Like Tom Brady's, I don't even say it's his last dynasty. Who the hell knows how long the dude's going to keep running it. Yeah. But like it's right there. So like when you have a legitimate shot at a championship, a few of them, and a run to try to string a couple together. I mean, especially all the guys being young, like young players, why not take a shot at? You're going to get more chances at getting paid, and everybody knows that you're great. You're just going to keep continuing to prove your greatness. You may not rack up a ton of numbers like this year. Like everybody kind of spread the ball around. It's team first, but it's not a slight to anybody on the team. Everybody else in the league knows how great you are. You know what I mean? Like Godwin clearly could be a number one anywhere pretty much. So like, I don't think in a year or two that would stop him from getting a huge payday. Same goes with Shaq or anybody really.
Yeah, I mean, would you like to see a J.J. Watt in a Tampa Bay Buccaneer uniform? A lot of people are talking about it, how he would take less money. You don't necessarily think that's going to happen. He usually, you think that he'll choose the Pittsburgh Steelers or possibly the Cleveland Browns have been talked about. Or does he pull a surprise and join the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And would you like to see that happen?
I mean, to not want somebody that's 3-time defensive player of the year to come to your team would be foolish. But at the same time, like, he's JJ Watt, and I know there's a lot of stuff about injury or whatever. But like last year, he played all 16 games. Like he still had a really productive year. He's only 31, 32 years old, and like now he wants to win. So if it would have to be like you said, that you got Brady and Evans restructure, and we're trying to keep the stuff that we have here. If people wanted to come in, like especially like a JJ Watt or something, it would have to be very team friendly, I would imagine, because I can't see them if we're having trouble paying the guys, our young guys that are cores of our team. I don't know how we could bring in a a veteran like that without them being like, you know what, man, I'm going to give you the homie hookup here and we'll run it. So it would be awesome to have him on the front four, but
I absolutely agree. All right, let's read some of these comments here from Sean. Bucks, a beatdown in the Bay. We want all that smoke, damn it. I said what I said. David says, you keep Godwin and let Shaq go. He had one good year. Godwin has produced every year. How many times have we overpaid for free agents that had one good year that ended up a bust? The only difference between last year and this year was one person, Vita. Without him next to Shaq, he went back to ordinary, but Godwin has been without Evans and other receivers and still produced. Is that a good point? I mean, somewhat of a good point by David, although I think Shaq has produced. He doesn't necessarily have the numbers like he had his first year. So how do you feel about that comment there, Dirty?
I think it's a good point, but also I think that it's a symbiotic relationship with Vea and Shaq, because when Vea's not out there eating double teams, you know who he is? Shaq. So like it's they go kind of hand in hand. If they're both on the field, when you got everything working in unison, it works great. But and Godwin, I 100% agree with everything you said about Godwin. But Shaq, I don't think he's overrated at all. Like his first year when he came in and he hit the 19.5 or whatever, that was two things. One, people were kind of sleeping on him, and he just exploded. Like hell, he had 3 or 4 games with 3 sacks.
Yeah,
that first season for us. So like he like racked up a lot of those quick. And then the same thing, like when Vea comes back, you see he's in there. And even when Vea's not here, he's still collapsing, coming from the outside, pushing guys in. Like he's moving the pocket from the outside. So I would not say that he's overrated. I definitely think that we need to have him. He just makes everybody else better. And then the guy, even 49, Gill behind him, coming in on spells. Like he looks great just coming in behind him. I don't know if they like how much they work together or whatever, but it just seems like everybody's play is up when Shaq and JPP are on the edges.
Yeah, on the edges, and you have Vita Vea in the middle. We're on with hip-hop artist Mr. Dirty here on the evolution of sports talk television, the Sports Web, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. I mean, Vita Vea, big-time impact there, and you would expect him, knock on wood, that he's going to be fully healthy. So, to me, I think you got to bring back both. I understand the Chris Godwin thing, but you do have Tyler Johnson. Yeah, you do have Antonio Brown. Most likely you're going to have a Gronk back. I mean, they may decide to go in a different direction with Cameron Brate, may go with O.J. Howard, who's coming back healthy. There's a lot of decisions that they can make on this team, and they can make it work. So we'll definitely see what happens. But with all that being said, are you working on anything Bucs related with some hip hop tracks?
I'm kind of piecing something together. I don't want to like put the cart before the horse here, so I want to wait and see what our roster is going to look like, because it's going to be the same as last year. Like when I wrote the song, it was literally in the moment, know the team. You know what I mean? I don't want to start up something and then I have a hook that I'm working on. Thanks to BA, the go for 2. So I got that down, but now I'm waiting to see what we do in our off season, and then towards the beginning of the season, I'll get one out early. I literally never even thought ever to do a song about I just loved the Bucs. Like I never mixed the two or crossed it. So, but now that I know people enjoy it, I have no problem writing a song and gassing up the Bucs.
Absolutely. All right, let's go out to our comments here. Tom Peso says, variety is the spice of life. Management could do something great. I think bringing in someone interesting that really complements the team and players, don't feel offended, will improve chances 2 times. Okay, and I understand that, but I see Nelson doing the same thing, and he is cheaper. Anthony Nelson, he showed some flashes of brilliance, but really, you don't think the Bucs are going to go with an Anthony Nelson over Shaq Barrett, right?
You're looking at a proven commodity, and you're going to let it walk off of a couple flashes.
Yeah,
I mean, no disrespect to Nelson, he could be great, but he hasn't. You got to put put the work on tape, man. You gotta see that. You gotta get the opportunities. You gotta consistently produce. Shaq does that. Like, even if it doesn't show up on a stat line, he's still doing it. Like, you can watch the tape and see that dude is always getting it done. So but I also don't know. Jason Light, who knows? But like they said, they were going to bring him back. So the fact that I know everybody was a little, on one that day, but that's when you're going to speak your heart. So I think that they're really, that's what they want to do. I think that's what they're going to try to do. And Nelson and everybody, all these guys that are going to be getting, like, coming in and spelling and be in this rotation anyway, they're just going to continue to grow and get better. So there's really, unless we lose them, like, on somehow, we're going to get to see them grow. And if he is going to be that guy, give him another year or two. Like, he's going to get more downs. If he's making splash plays every time he's in, he's going to get more reps. So, like, I give it time. But yeah, I wouldn't bet the farm on a couple splash plays.
I agree. David says, to me, I think he is the victim of volume on defense. Very funny. You could make a point. Again, 4th round pick in Anthony Nelson. We'll see what transpires with that situation. He's going to be on this team. I'm not sure if he's going to get starting duties over Shaq Barrett. They may go after somebody, or they may draft, or again, they may go with an Anthony Nelson. We'll see what happens. Definitely an intriguing offseason here. Got to ask you, get you out of here on this. What did you think about that parade celebration? Did Tampa Bay do it right? Was this better than the first celebration? Because to me, it was more lively, and I was shocked by that because it's a pandemic. You have a boat parade going on. You have everybody drinking and having a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, did they do this right?
Yeah, I think they couldn't have done it any better. I was pissed off that I couldn't be there, like, just because of my work and all this stuff. You got all these restrictions where you can't do this and that and something else. So I didn't get to be there, but I watched every single thing that I could of it as it happened, from the players' lives, people that I knew that were down there. Like, I thought it was great. Plus, I really love the fact that everybody that hates, say, there's always been a huge Tom Brady hate wagon, but you could go down that hate wagon now. It's probably cut in half just because they're like, holy, this dude cuts loose too. This is awesome.
Right. I mean, you could see him. He was jamming out. He was moving his head. He was bobbing, and then you saw the video with him a little bit too much, and that's okay. He deserved that. And then right back to work again.
Yeah.
I loved, the BA. I love Jason Light. They were all cursing. They were all, just, you could see the hard work was put in there with all the obstacles and all the adversity in 2020. You could see it all just come out and how happy they were, and losing of phones. And did you have a problem with Brady throwing the Lombardi to Cameron Brates?
No. The closest thing to a problem I have with that is that 97% of news outlets are like, he threw it to Gronkowski. I'm like, Gronk doesn't have a beard. It was clearly Cam Brate. And secondly, the lady that was heartbroken and couldn't sleep, our thoughts and prayers are with her. What the hell would it matter if it went in? Wouldn't they just have to make a new one if they lost that one? Wouldn't that be more money in your pocket?
She couldn't sleep because the trophy was caught. I mean, it was thrown. Come on. And Jason Light had the perfect response. I think he said, "Quiet down, Francis." Like that. Yeah. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome. I loved it. All right, good stuff, man. Go ahead and promote yourself. We'll get you out of here on that.
If you want to check out any of my stuff, just look up Dirty, DURTE, anywhere you stream music. You can check me out on YouTube, youtube.com/Dirty, DURTE music. And that's it. Buck 'em up. Go Bucs.
All right, there you go. Buck 'em up there. Dirty hip-hop artist here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Thanks a lot for your time, all right? Two, that's it.
Yeah.
Right, all right, boss. There you go. Good stuff. We'll get him out of there. We'll read the rest of these comments. We got some special surprises tonight. Not only guests, but some interviews that we didn't get a chance to play with former NFL players. We were working. We were invited out to the celebrity shootout put on by David Big Papi Ortiz and, of course, the Chris Godwin Foundation. We got a chance to interview guys like Devin Hester and Andre Reed and Bernie Kosar and Doug Flutie and Leon Searcy. All these guys playing in the NFL. So we'll go into that a little bit. We'll talk more about free agency, get some thoughts here, and then one in for the night. And like I said, Monday and Fridays. No Wednesdays. That's okay. No hump day. You got the over-under with Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper, and of course, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. That's not to say that if something happens during the week, like a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday, that I won't be on here covering it for a Bucs report. We'll just do 2 days, and we'll see how that works out. I knew you would like that, Peter. Laugh out loud. Carl says, I'm one. Laugh out loud, says Carl. Again, there's another video of receivers throwing it to the defense, but that was only a few feet. Yes, there was. But that video was not talked about, was it? It was Brady. Oh, my God. He's throwing it to a tight end. The guy's the greatest of all time for a reason, right? I mean, there's a reason why he's the greatest of all time. Give the guy credit. He's handled a couple of those Lombardi trophies, if you know what I mean. All right, let's go back out to Sue's comments to Sports Illustrated once again, in case you didn't catch them. My goal is to come back and have an opportunity to go win another championship. Me and Tom Brady spoke the other day about that opportunity, as well with Jason Light. I don't know if you saw our parade celebration on that podium. Coach BA said, I'm not going anywhere. He's usually a man of his word. So I look forward to the opportunity to continue to play, especially for Tampa Bay. I honestly believe I have a lot of elite, great talent left in me to play. I'm not ready to hang them up yet, and my wife has given me the okay. That's first and foremost. Smart guy. I got that permission. He also goes on to say, along with being able to still have that energy, that fire to go out there, I think the biggest thing that pushed me throughout this season was knowing I have twins on the way. Being able to have them come into a world as champions, but then also me play a couple years, maybe 5, who knows, that's that they get to see me on the football field and experience that at a certain age. Obviously, they're going to be super young, going back to a year, but just for them to be able to experience it and be around that environment would be great. So there you go. There's a guy that clearly wants to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Your thoughts. Now let's go out to Bruce Arians and his comments to the herd, calling Cal Herd on the show. In fact, he said he was very confident that the team would be able to retain their key free agents, and reiterated that confidence when the team celebrated their title at the boat parade last week. He also thinks that players will stay if the money is close. And he actually didn't say this to Colin Cowherd. We'll get to that. This was to Joey Knight of the Tampa Bay Times. Key word, if the money is close. So if the Bucs are coming in close money to another team, and we've talked about it before in free agency, bad teams are willing to overpay. The Bucs at a certain point were a bad team. They had to overpay. Why? Because they're a bad team. If you're a good team, you can get away with paying a little bit less or in that ballpark. You know what I mean? So that's what he was saying. They will say if the money is close, and that can be a problem for coveted players like a Chris Godwin. He said he doesn't get involved in contracts. That's BA. That's what he said. I think he loves it here, according to Joey Knight again of the Tampa Bay Times. It's hard to leave and go to another system just for money, but it's not bad paying 2 number 1 wide receivers, that's for sure, when they're as good as our 2 number 1s. Make no mistake about it. I get it. Godwin may want to go somewhere else and may want to be the number 1 wide receiver, but then at the end of the day, why? The grass isn't always greener on the other side. You have Mike Evans on one side, commands that double team, frees up on a Chris Godwin. Guess what? Godwin goes to a bad team, or hell, he goes to the Colts. He's going to be the sole focus. So maybe he won't be as productive as he was with the Bucs, right? New system, you've got to learn. You've got to put all that into this decision. That's what it comes down to. Bucs fans, remember it. Alvin Harper, highly successful. I know, going way back. Even Bert Emanuel with the Atlanta Falcons, highly successful. Go to a new system, not as successful. Alvin Harper, number 2 wide receiver. Why was he good with the Dallas Cowboys? Because he didn't command that double team. Michael Irvin did. So that freed up the one-on-one opportunities. Not saying it can't happen. Colts have been rumored. $90 million with the Carson Wentz. Makes sense. Colts, an upcoming team, a playoff contender. They're getting better. They think they're a quarterback away. We'll see if Wentz and what he does. We'll see. Is it a possibility for Godwin to go for more money? Sure. He deserves that right. But at the end of the day, the factors you have to take into is how comfortable he is in Tampa. Does he like the system? Does he like playing with Tom Brady? Does he like playing with Mike Evans and Rob Gronkowski, and then Antonio Brown, who could be resigned? Some people say, well, the Bucs have made the decision already. Really? I'm not sure about that. I get it. Tyler Johnson is drafted 5th round. Love him. I think he's a 2nd or 3rd round player. Talked to him a couple years ago in the Outback Bowl when he went off for 200 yards. Is he ready to ascend? We'll see. If the Bucs decide to go in that direction, that's where they'll go. They're most likely re-signing Antonio Brown. And of course, the scuttlebutt on ESPN, according to Jeff Darlington, that OBJ would be interested in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Would you as a fan be interested in an OBJ? I get it. He puts up some big-time numbers. Highly talented wide receiver. Can't stay healthy. Also, maybe a distraction off the field. Although it works in this locker room, does it not? We saw that with Antonio Brown. So could the Bucs go in that direction? They would have to trade for him. So to me, it's more likely that if they do decide to not sign a Chris Godwin, they re-sign an Antonio Brown, they go with the Tyler Johnson. That's where I'm at with that. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying there's one of those things that you have to consider in free agency, all those possibilities. The Shaq Barrett thing is a little bit more cloudy because if you go without a Shaq, then who do you got? Anthony Nelson? Is he ready to ascend? I like Anthony Nelson. Is he as good as Shaq Barrett? Not sure. Hasn't necessarily put the body of work to show you he is. So, let's see here. Let me see. Let me read these comments. And he did that stuff drunk as hell. Well, I always learn when you're drunk as hell. And I haven't been, I've been drunk in my life. Let's not be ridiculous here. Not a big time drinker, but when I was, you're more honest, are you not? Right? You're more honest? So, what's that mean? David says, do you know if the Bucs have settled on the ring design? Because I want to get a replica and they've already showing them on sale online. I do not know. I've not seen the design for that ring. Nobody wants to leave this team. That's what I'm saying. Who wants to leave this team right now? You're not talking about the New York friggin' Jets. You're talking about the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Doesn't it feel nice to say that? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Mr. James Elliott says, waiting on the same thing. Need one to go with the first one. David says, yeah, that's why I'm asking. I want my second ring too. Tepeso says, did you like the Tom Brady IG video mocking the haters? Didn't hear the biggest clown, Rob Parker, in there. There's only one GOAT. Exactly. I look back at Rob Parker. Look, the guy gets paid money for some reason. I guess he brings controversial takes, but every take he's had about Tom Brady has been wrong. So if Rob Parker is telling you something about Tom Brady, bet against it because he's wrong. Clearly. He looks like an ass and he sounds like an ass when he's talking about Tom Brady. He does. He's been wrong. Completely wrong. So yes, I saw that. I thought that was cool. Because Tom Brady likes to troll. He's probably the biggest troll out there. And you say some stupid stuff and don't back it up, he's going to keep receipts for it. He is. No OBJ, don't like him. James says, pass. If we're going to pay OBJ money, pay Godwin. Well, that's what I'm saying. If you lose Godwin, then that's where Darlington of ESPN has come in and said that OBJ may be in that conversation. I think it's just something to talk about. I do. If we can't afford to re-sign our free agents, then we can't afford OBJ. I agree. And I don't want OBJ. I mean, you saw the Browns and how good they were without him. They still made the playoffs. Playoffs. Yeah, playoffs, Jim. Playoffs.
Playoffs?
Yeah.
Don't talk about it. Playoffs?
Yeah, we're
You
talking
kidding
about
me?
it. Yeah.
Playoffs?
Yep. And let me see if I don't have that sound effect yet. Again, the Bucs could use the franchise tag on Godwin to ensure he gets a big raise while remaining in Tampa. Again, it could complicate efforts with Shaq, Levante David, and Ndamukong Suh, and Rob Gronkowski. So we'll see how that works out. But, that's going to be the story of free agency. Who stays and who goes? That's always been the story. Who would you like to see stay and go? 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. So, with all that being said, let's go out to what Bruce Arians had to say on the Herd on Thursday. Basically, he would consider retiring only if he had to go back to calling offensive plays. In fact, he says, if I lost Byron or Todd Bowles, I have to think about quitting because not losing any coaches this year makes next year so much easier and so much easier to repeat. But once you start deleting your coaching staff, I don't want to go back to calling plays. And Byron right now is still the only guy I trust doing it. And I have to think long and hard if we're going to lose him. Let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Peter, how you doing? Steve Glasgow. Spoke to you last week, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great, buddy. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are Super Bowl champs. How you feeling still?
Man, I'll tell you, that's why I was standing in Sam's Club, and it's crazy. I was standing in Sam's Club today shopping.
Yeah.
And no joke, it just hit me in the middle of checking out. Holy crap, we won the Super Bowl.
Right. I mean, for me, it hit me when the parade was going on. And I thought the Bucs did an extraordinary job with the boat parade. And the guys were laying back and they were having a good time. And they were social distancing. And there was no complaints besides maybe Brady trying to throw the Super Bowl trophy over to one of his dependable pass catchers and a Cameron Brate. I didn't think that was a big deal. I thought it was all well and fun. I think they were having a good time. They should have had a good time. That's when it directly hit me that the Bucs were Super Bowl champions. What about you? It hit you in the goal. It hit you in the line there.
It hit me I knew it at the parade, but I think for me, I was just more enthralled with, man, this has got to be the coolest Super Bowl parade ever.
Right.
I mean, it ended for no other duck boat going down the middle of any street is going to be even close. Kansas City's parade last year sucked compared to this one.
Yep.
It was just amazing. I mean, it was an incredible parade. So I think I was more just kind of caught up in that. And I knew we won, but when it hit you, it's like, holy crap, we won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And I love you. I love your take. When we talked last week, we were talking about some of the players who might stay, who might go. And I love your take. I mean, I really like Chris Godwin. I think he's a great player.
I do too.
But if he wants to get paid, brother, we got other people who can take your job. Like I said, I agree. I think Tyler Johnson, especially if that 3rd and 11 catch he had in the divisional game.
And the Saints game, one of the biggest opportunities. I mean, you're talking about a kid, and I had PJ Fleck. I interviewed him at the Outback Bowl. I don't know if you got a chance to hear it. I'll go ahead and play that again. We're in the off season, so we got to have a little bit of content, but he was a former wide receiver coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In fact, he coached Vincent Jackson, so I'd like to have him on the show again to talk about Jackson and his impact on him, but he talked about Tyler Johnson and all the adverse situations he had to go through with that Minnesota program, with the changing of systems and coaches, and staying there and not listening to the agents and doing the right thing by him and getting the education and also becoming a better football player and also a better man. And you could see his performance in the Outback Bowl, over 200 receiving yards. You could see the performance against the Saints in the divisional game with that big-time 3rd down catch, because you don't expect rookies to make catches like that. But when you make a catch like that, that's huge. So he's not afraid of the big moment. Am I ready to give him the car keys and say, you're our 2nd guy or you're our 3rd guy? I'm not sure. But if the organization feels like, you know what, Godwin is out of our out of our lane at this point, and he's basically priced himself out. And if we're going to lose Godwin, we re-sign Shaq and you re-sign a Sue and an Antonio Brown and a Gronk. I have no problem with that. I trust this organization will do right by it.
I absolutely agree. And to be honest, I appreciate what you read. I had not heard that statement by Sue yet. I thought he might be looking to retire because
Nope.
that twins coming.
Yep.
But man, the fact that he wants to come back, that's huge. And I think, just me personally, I think part of the reason why he wants to come back is because JJ Watt's out there.
Well, and I think that's a consideration. I think a lot of teams are considering it, and why wouldn't they consider Watt down here in Tampa if he wants to win a ring? And here's a player for many years that's been dominant at the NFL level, who has, defensive player of the year. He basically, what's on his resume to prove? He wants to win a championship. Where's the best place to win a championship? Right here in Tampa Bay. Yes, I said it, Tampa Bay. I bought into it. Tampa Bay, whatever you want to call it. It's with the Bucs, of course, with Tom Brady. So would Watt take less money? Of course, Sue is considering it. He wants to be a part of it. He likes the defensive line, the way the defensive line has come alive in this postseason. He wants to be a part of that going forward, and why not? If the Bucs are willing to pay him, he wants to take less money and come back. I think they make it happen.
I think they make it happen too, and they absolutely played lights out. I mean, after that bye week, it was amazing, and it was because they got progressively better every single week after the bye week.
Yeah,
and that's what the best part was. They just kind of all finally gelled. It all kind of clicked. And it was just great to see that progression after the bye week, and haven't lost a game since. They got the GOAT quarterback on the team, which I could not be happier about. That guy does not look like a 43-year-old. I don't know what it was. I don't know if you saw the side by side on the screen when they show like Brady and they show Patrick Mahomes. One of my buddies said Mahomes looks older than Brady.
Yeah, I mean that's that TB12 stuff. All of us should be taking that TB12 stuff, because whatever he's taken, whatever regimen he has in the offseason with an Alex Guerrero has definitely benefited him. And you can see the guy playing after he's 45. In fact, talk to Doug Flutie about this, and you're going to really enjoy this interview that we did at the Super Celebrity Shootout, buddy. What else?
Awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing the interview. You're doing a fantastic job. Love your show. Thanks for that information about Sue. I really hope all the guys come back. I'm sure we're going to lose somebody. I'm pretty sure Fournette's gone because he wants to be a star. He wants to be the main guy. He wants to be the bell cow somewhere, and that's fine. We lose Fournette. We lose Godwin.
Yeah,
we got people who can step up. So
yeah, I'm in the Godwin argument. I want to sign him. I want to re-sign everybody, and I think they can do that. But if they can't and he gets a better offer, then you have to go with what you got to go with. And I think it's defense. What's your name again?
Steve Glasper. Nice talking to you, brother.
Steve, buddy, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you. Go friend me on Facebook if we're not already friends, and definitely don't be a stranger on the Evolution, all right?
You got it, bud. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate you. There you go. Good stuff. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Isn't this fun? Me and you talking. No guest. Just me and you on a Friday night. I don't know where you'd rather be with your Bucs talk. So let's go out to the webheads here. Agree with that. We read that. Haha, I went Denny Green to crown his asses. We may get that sound effect. Wanted to know your thoughts after seeing what happened this year. O.J. Howard is a lot more expendable than I thought. I love O.J. Howard coming back after an injury. I definitely think he's in their plans. And if you're going to get rid of one of these tight ends, which they have talked about, we have talked about in the seasons of past, with the Cameron Brate making lots of money, but he was one of the most dependable targets. And because Howard can't stay healthy, that's the reason why you would keep a Cameron Brate. So I like O.J. Howard. The problem is, can Howard stay healthy? Let's go out to the phone lines. Mr. Curtis on a Friday night. Welcome to the Evolution. What's on your mind, boss? The Bucs are still world champions. What do you have to say?
That's the best sentence I've heard since February 7th.
Now, I tell you right now, I could say anything. I could say you're not getting taxes back this year. Your wife left you, but your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, maybe not that, but your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are Super Bowl world champions, and you wouldn't care, right?
That's right.
Love it.
That's
Good
right.
stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, what's on your mind, boss?
Nothing much, man. Just I'm waiting for free agency, man.
Yep. I think we all
I
are.
think everybody needs to just stop panicking because think about the job. Think about the job Jason Light has done, and just put your faith in him.
Yep. That's
Come
it.
on, man. We went from Jameis Winston in '79 to Tom Brady in 11-5 in the Super Bowl.
Right.
All in 1 year.
All in 1 year with a pandemic.
All in 1 year.
With no preseason, with no training camp, with no mini camp. Yep. Amazing.
And if you look at it, we've had one of the best drafts we had in a long time just this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tristan Wirfs, that kid could be a Pro Bowler right now.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Winfield.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
And Winfield, and for this, the thing that bothers me is the team that wins the Super Bowl has no Pro Bowlers.
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen?
I don't know, man. I never doubted it because it's Tom Brady and the way this team was coming together. But you're exactly right. It's an amazing feat with looking back at NFL seasons of the past. Although people will say, well, because they didn't necessarily have to face a crowd or something along those lines of opposition, that maybe that was an advantage. Maybe so. But at the end of the day, you still have to travel. You still have to go in there and play your games, and you still have to execute against some of the top quarterbacks. And again, you talk about the quarterbacks, Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, all shut down by this defense. Not only the offense doing a good job against those opposing defenses, but that defense shutting down those opposing quarterbacks is so impressive. So impressive.
Patrick Mahomes is still running for his life right now.
Yep, he still is. He still is as we speak.
Right.
And they're still they need to fix that offensive line for him, or they're going to get that kid killed. They really are.
Yeah. Well, you know what? All I'm going to say is, now he's not as invincible as people think he is.
No. No quarterback is, Curtis. I mean, come on. You don't protect a quarterback, and that's what happens.
Yeah. And, the thing about it is everybody was all like, everybody's been picking Kansas City to win the Super Bowl since last season started. And I'm like, man, look, you still have to go out there and play the game.
Sure you do.
And we went out there and we played our ass off. Excuse my French.
Hey,
and,
I like French. I like French fries, but French is okay to have that on this show. That's all right to have some French.
And just that young, that mixture of veterans and young kids on defense is just like Todd Bowles, man. That's all I can say.
Right.
And I think me and you had this conversation.
We did.
Before the season started.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Bowles is going to make a difference.
Todd Bowles is definitely a big time difference. And you heard from Bruce Arians on Thursday's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. He said, I may have to retire if I have to call. I have to be a game caller again. He likes Byron Leftwich being the game caller on offense, and he also likes Todd Bowles being the game caller on defense. It makes his job that much easier. That's the reason why when there's a bunch of trolls out there saying, why did the Bucs have a big time coaching staff? This is why, because it eases the pressure off of a Bruce Arians, so he doesn't necessarily have to worry about wearing all these hats, if you will, taking a line from Bill Parcells in the past.
Absolutely.
So
everybody stop panicking. We're gonna sign our players.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna draft our players, and we're going into this new season with one goal, and that's to be a two-time champion, a back-to-back champion.
I love it. I think so too. I definitely think so. I'm calling it now. Super Bowl or bust. Here we go.
Absolutely. And maybe we'll finally have a Pro Bowler on our team this year.
Well, hey, look, if we don't have any Pro Bowlers, good for the NFL, good for the coaches and the players. You guys missed out, but you motivated the beast. You put that fire under their asses, and that's what you got. You got players that were not playing for a Pro Bowl. They were playing for proof that they belonged in the Pro Bowl by winning postseason games and winning a Super Bowl.
All I can tell you is I was listening to the pregame speech Evan White was giving before the Super Bowl, and that kid is amazing.
That he is.
That kid is, when he came out, they were comparing him to Patrick Willis.
Yep.
And, I loved Patrick Willis. I did. Because Patrick Willis was like Ray Lewis to me. That kid is amazing.
Is he as good as Ray Lewis already?
No.
Not yet, huh?
He's getting there.
Yeah.
Because he's playing, he goes out there and he gives it out his all.
Yeah.
He's just got to go out there, put in his time like Ray Lewis did. That's all he has to do.
Absolutely.
But
Agree.
he goes out there and he gives it his all, and he plays with high energy every game, and he does whatever he can for the W.
You're exactly right. I mean, and that's what it comes down to. It comes down to having a defensive leader on that side of the ball, and it comes down to having an offensive leader. And we all know who the offensive leader on this team is. It's Tom Brady. But in that aspect of being a quarterback on defense, we believe that it's not Levante David, it's Devin White. So,
absolutely.
All right, what else, buddy?
Nothing, man. I'm ready for the season to start.
It's getting there. We got the draft, which you're picking 32nd, so you don't have to worry about talking about top 10 or top 15. And then you probably could take the best player available, and you also have free agencies. You have free agency in the draft, and then after that, hopefully we got some semblance of normalcy, if you will, with training camp, mini camps, and of course preseason. We got you all covered here on the Evolution, brought to you by Advanced. All right.
What I did is free agency starts on the 17th, correct?
It does.
That's my wife's birthday.
So well.
What I did was I bought her a 8-hour spa day.
Very smart.
She's going to the spa for 8 hours, and she's getting out of my hair so I can watch free agency.
Well, I tell you right now, keep it locked here on Bucs Report. We'll definitely get you covered here no matter what happens. We got you covered, and I will be covering here whatever happens with the Bucs. We'll see, and we'll talk about it, and we'll spend a couple hours or 2 or 3 and talk about all the moves made not only by the Bucs but around the NFL. We got you covered, brother. All right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I want everybody to understand that we're gonna have another great season, and whatever happens, happens.
Absolutely, my friend. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons for you as always. One of my favorite callers here, Mr. Curtis. Thanks a lot for calling the Evolution. All right, boss?
All right, bro.
All right, man. Appreciate you. There you go. Good stuff there. Curtis from Newport Richie, open phone line 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Carl here. If they keep him on the roster one more year, I would like to see what he can contribute. If it doesn't work, you trade him. Well, then at that point, he'll most likely be a free agent. Prioritize the defense, absolutely. To pay so easy for me to say, and you for to say also. Yes, your show is fun, like Bucs, boom, boom. Absolutely. Tabasco says, agree, defense first. David says, that's my thought exactly, Peter, about O.J. Howard. And Carl says, yes, sir, Super Bowl or bust, barring injuries, we will be better team next year. You know why? Because everybody is going to be comfortable now. That's not a bad thing. Sometimes it can be, because it can lead to complacency. But this team's not going to be complacent. When you have their general and the greatest of all time in a Tom Brady already getting ready to work out, when you have players learning the defensive system another year, the rookies that we're talking about, those second, third-year guys are definitely going to have an advantage. You're going to have some time, you believe, in the offseason. It's going to get back to normal again, you hope, with having the mini camps, with having the OTAs, with having training camp and preseason. And I get it, preseason football, but goodness gracious, how many injuries were there last year? I mean, Bruce Arians talked about it today, or talked about it in his press conference, soft tissue injuries the other day. So hopefully the NFL and the powers that be, the Players Association, will have an offseason. All right, let's go out to Pro Football Talk and what Leonard Fournette has revealed about Tom Brady. And he was talking about this, in fact, on the Michael Irvin podcast. Didn't know Michael Irvin had a podcast. That's a good tune in, I guess. Like Michael Irvin a lot. He was texting us a lot of clips, says Fournette, and lots of film on what to expect on certain down and distances. Also, Mike Evans said this. They're saying Evans said Brady stepped up everything. Evans told Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times, and he does that all the time. But just in the playoffs, especially this game, he went above and beyond. Like 12 at night, 6 in the morning, people aren't even up, and he's telling us this won't work against this guy. You got to run it like this. This is the detail that went into this and the extra meetings and all the hard work. It all paid off, and Tom is a great leader. So it says, okay. Leonard Fournette first said, we will win. That's what Tom Brady was sending the text. But Mike Evans was the one who said all that. So that's how determined Brady was in the preparation. It's all about preparation, right? My dad used to say it all the time. Good preparation leads to less perspiration. Write that down. If I prepare this show like I did tonight, I'm not stressing out. If I just go off the top of my head, maybe I'll be able to pull it off, but I'm sweating a little bit. I don't like to sweat. I like to kind of be relaxed a little bit. Have that sports swag, if you will. When I get on here and talk to you, we can talk like you're sitting right next to me. I like that. That's called preparation. That's what you have to have in this business. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. All right, let's go out to Chill Will. Did Brady have his surgery yet? If not, will he? From what I heard, he did have a surgery, and from all intents and purposes, it wasn't a cleanup. Was it a major surgery? I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor, so I can't really comment on it, but you know what I know. I haven't heard anything different at this point. I would not expect Tom Brady to miss any significant time for the start of the 2021 season. With that being said, let's go out to a special treat here as we got, we had Devin Hester. We interviewed a lot of celebrities at the Super Celebrity Shootout sponsored by David Ortiz, of course, Big Papi, former Major League Baseball All-Star for the Boston Red Sox. And, of course, our own Chris Godwin with his foundation. Let's hear from some of these guys that played in the NFL here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Enjoy. And all eyes are on Tampa tomorrow. The Kansas City Chiefs are taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. First and foremost, what do you think about that matchup?
I want Tampa to win because I'm from Florida, but if I had to bet, I would go the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs offense is just too close. They do have a decent defense, but Tampa has a better defense. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a scoring game, and I think Kansas City going to come out.
Take me back to your favorite Super Bowl memory when you returned the kick. Talk about that moment and how you were feeling before the game. Super Bowl memory when you returned the kick. Do you belong in the Hall of Fame for your kick returning abilities? Look, I already know it. Just sell them on it. Tell them. Absolutely. Now, I know you're a former Miami Hurricane. They always say, is the U back? Is the U going to finally get back here in the next couple of years? How do you feel about that program getting back to prominence?
So many guys that's juniors coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You haven't seen that in a while. And when you see like the star players that's juniors that has the opportunity to go out, come out, announcing that they're coming back, that's a big step.
Really quick, talk about the wide receivers on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown. What are your feelings on all those players?
I know they got a big task there, because they're looking at Kansas City last year. And at the end of the day, we have to open to the season. Both sides of the field, you want to be that guy that outdo the other guy on the other side of the field. I know they're coming on this season.
All right, thanks a lot for the time. Appreciate you, Devin. All right, there you go. That's Devin Hester, former wide receiver for the Miami Hurricanes. Of course, the U asking that question. And, of course, the Chicago Bears. And you could see the little, I think he played for the Seattle Seahawks at a time, but I'm not going to count that. I'm not going to count that against him. But yeah, he thought the Chiefs were going to win. More explosive weapons. We talked about the wide receivers. We talked about the Hall of Fame. You could see a little bit of pushback. I told him, sell it. I don't still understand why Hester's not in the Hall of Fame. I get it. They don't put special teams guys in there, specialists, if you will. That guy deserves to be in it. He does. I mean, he was a game weapon. And we talked about that Super Bowl versus the Colts. So, good stuff there. Any comments or questions about that? Hope you like that. Let's go out real quick to Mr. Doug Flutie, who at the time, I didn't realize this, but was a WWE 24/7 champion. I guess he lost it at a flag football game to R-Truth, who's won it like 26 times or something. It's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. They need to pass it on. It's a good gimmick. But here's Doug Flutie, who was a former quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, of course, the Chargers, and at a time, the Chicago Bears, here on the Evolution, talking about not only Tom Brady, but also being insightful about the direction that NFL teams are going with more mobile quarterbacks here on the Sports Web, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. Enjoy. All right, I got to ask you, Doug, thanks a lot for your time here on Bucs Report. What do you think about Tom Brady's season? 40 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. What he's doing right now is amazing.
He just marvels. I marvel at what he's doing. At 43 years old, to switch teams, to learn a new offense during the time period where he couldn't get together with the guys, to do what he's done. I think you saw the momentum go throughout the season with him. He's just one of a kind. He still has his arm. I always say that he needs just his arm and his head, and that's how he wins.
Can he play over 45 years old, do you think? How many years?
If he chooses to, yes.
Okay.
There's no doubt that it's not a limitation as far as athleticism and ability to get it done. That's a want-to. That comes down to his motivation to play.
Mm-hmm.
This year, he was really motivated, changing teams. He kept that fire burning. If he can keep that burning, yeah, physically he can. There's no doubt.
Talk about Patrick Mahomes trying to repeat as a Super Bowl champion. How good has he been, and how good can he be?
I love the way he plays the game. He validates everything I tried to do, throwing on downs, falling away, and looking at all that stuff. Just the fact that at a young age to be as relaxed and comfortable as he was right away, and to get back to this game, back-to-back season, that's phenomenal. It is.
Talk about the other mobile quarterbacks in the league, a Russell Wilson, a Lamar Jackson, even a Josh Allen. It seems like the NFL focus is kind of going and shifting to a more mobile quarterback.
Yeah, they see it as an advantage, and it is. They have to now defend the quarterback run. The spread offense is more dangerous because you can't really blitz him. He might run away from the blitz. He can move. He can make big plays. The ability to do the RPO game, all that stuff now is a big factor. It's going to be interesting to see the longevity of these guys and whether they can go with careers playing the game that way.
Who's going to win this game on Sunday, the Chiefs or the Bucs? I see your hat on there, but
I'm going with my heart. There's no reason to believe Tampa Bay should be able to beat Kansas City's good, but it's the Tom Brady factor. I just believe it's going to happen for him, and they're going to find a way.
All right, welcome back to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. A little bit of sound there. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Carl says anyone who said KC had more weapons is crazy. I agree, but that was the prevailing thought from the national media that KC had more weapons than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it didn't come down to necessarily the weapons. It came down to the defenses. It came down to working in the trenches. And if I want to go out to somebody that will deal with trenches, that would be former offensive lineman Mr. Leon Searcy, who used to block for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jacksonville Jaguars, hoping to get him on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television on Monday night. He has a great story to tell. Of course, former offensive lineman. Here's what he had to say about that Chiefs matchup in the Super Bowl versus your Tampa Bay Buccaneers here on the Sports Web. What do you think about this matchup tomorrow between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes?
Well, I mean, it's going to be the GOAT versus the baby GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's going to be a good matchup. I think both teams are going to be prolific offensively. I think they're going to play well defensively. But in my opinion, my assessment that Tom Brady has made a career out of Super Bowls. He's been in 10 Super Bowls right now. So no person better to bet on winning the Super Bowl than Tom Brady. So until he proves me wrong, I'll bet them 12.
We all know that it's won and lost between the trenches. There's a big-time problem with the Kansas City Chiefs. What's the challenge tomorrow from Mike Remmers and the right tackle to block a Shaq Barrett and a JPP?
That's going to be a hell of a challenge. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, a lot of his ability is based upon his ability to have time. Now, you got people in the pocket, but you can also swimming out the pocket. But you got JGP and you got Barrett. So, I mean, they're going to put pressure on him. And I love this dude right here, Brandon Merriweather.
You guys are
So, I think it's going to be a hell of a game.
talk about Tristan Wirfs and what he's done this year with coming out of Iowa.
Well, listen, anytime you got a rookie right tackle that comes in the league, it's hard to start as a right tackle. And he's been efficient for the most part. He's had ups and downs, but that's a growing pains of being an offensive lineman, especially a rookie. But so far, in the biggest game of his life, he's got to show up.
Now, I just asked Evan Hester, is the U back? Do you think the U is going to get back again?
The U won't get back until they on the consistent. The U is never going to get back until they consistently play for championships. Like when I was there, we consistently played for national championships. So I don't want to hear about the U coming back until year after year after year they're competing for national championships.
Leon, in your opinion, who's the best offensive lineman right now in the National Football League?
The best offensive lineman right now in the league is probably the guy that's hurt in Green Bay. What's his name?
Bacateri. Yes.
But I also like the guy from Houston as well.
Laramie Tunsil. Yes.
I like their wrestling. I like their feet, their leverage. And I like the way they come up the ball. And I like the way they pass.
Give me a final prediction: Kansas City versus the Bucs. Who's going to win and why?
Tampa Bay to win 26-21.
All right, there you go. So he was right. 26-21. Welcome back to the Evolution on Sports Talk Television. So there was some sights and sounds there from that super celebrity shootout. Thanks to Todd Grassley for having us out there. Bucs Report. A lot of people thought we were just going to be relaxing that night, kind of just chilling out. But we were working. We had our camera ready. We were ready to interview some celebrities for you. Definitely catch those interviews here on Bucs Report exclusively with those former NFL superstars. So with that being said, thanks to Des Walker, pass rushing specialist of the Chuck Smith School in Atlanta. We'll have him back on. And of course, hip hop artist Dirty. And of course, all your phone calls early on this Friday night, Saturday morning. Yes, I'm going to say it again and keep on saying it. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are Super Bowl champions. Do three things for me here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. For all your auto parts needs, it's Advanced Auto Parts. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake. See you on Monday night on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, live on Bucs Report. Have a good weekend. Evolution. Sports Talk Television live here nightly on Bucs Report. It's the Sports Lab. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about on tonight's show. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Will you shut up and be quiet?